around and then when I pan around, I don't run that bend. Then just on the bend. On the bend, yeah.
And we are live from a very overcast Battersea, the fastest park in the United Kingdom. My name is Lloyd. I am joined by my co-host Maddie, and we are here for the Comeback 5000, one of the famous meets on the circuit. Maddie, how are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm excited. We've got 7 races today, culminating in the women's elite and the men's elite. I'm excited. It's going to be exciting. The first race is a mixed race, and we've got four men's only races, and then the women's elite and then the men's elite at 20 to 9.
Yeah, we've got some great races lined up for this evening. I think it's great to see the London club scene turning out once again. We've got athletes already on the track preparing from various different clubs like Belgrave, home club. We're going to have Herne Hill, we'll have Wimbledon athletes, we've got Tonbridge, we've even got athletes travelling all the way from the Highlands of Falkirk and Central. We've got a big contingency from the Scots this evening in some of those faster races later on after 8 o'clock. But I will run you through the schedule if you can't see it on your screens. We are going to kick things off just at 6:15 in 10 minutes time with race number 1, and then we will be flying through the races with number 2 going off at 7:15, race 3 at 7:10, race number 4 at 7:35, race 5 at 7:58, the elite women at 19 minutes past 8, and rounding things off with the elite men at 8:42. Now we do have quite a lot going on in the track tonight. It's not just all about the action on the 8 lanes. We also have, of course, we have to have some form of fun and entertainment for the people here watching. So we do have some alcohol going on. We do have some 0% alcohol out there as well, courtesy of our friends from Days. If you can see us, give us a wave. Good, brilliant, great response there. And we do have a donation pot going as well, which means that everything you see in terms of a beverage is free of charge. But we are going to ask you if you can dig deep for some donations. All that money will go into the prize pot and will be shared in those elite races. Would you donate, Maddie?
I would, and I did last year, I would say.
Oh, yeah.
And
how much did you donate
last year? I think it was a £5 a beer I gave, because that's what you would pay in London normally.
Yeah, where are you drinking? I'm £7 a pint where I live. £5 pints. I don't know where you live. You must live Streatham. Yeah, that's it. I'm living in the wrong area. That's why, isn't it? But no. Jokes aside, we do have some fantastic races tonight, and in this opening race, we've got some great talent. I'm just having a look here at the start list. Who have we got? We've got athletes from Fulham. We've got athletes from Kent, Guildford, Thames Hare and Hounds, Belgrave Harriers, and of course Tonbridge AC. Is there anyone in that list that you fancy or sort of jumps out to you?
So interestingly enough, we're talking through the teams. We've got Southampton in there. There is a massive contingent from Southampton today. I don't know if they're already here, and if you are, give us a wave. But I think they're called SDR Elite, and they're all coached by someone called Steve Phillips. But they've got at least one person in each of the races tonight, and in some of the races they've got multiple people. So they clearly got in the entries early. But yeah, I'm excited to see how they all do.
It's a great turnout there from the Southampton clan. Is there anyone else that jumps out to you?
So I don't know. I think my money might be on. I'm going to put a name out there with James Parton from Guildford, who ran 16:50 on the road last year. Yeah,
he's one of the fastest in this opening race. So yeah, he's definitely one of the leading runners there. But let's talk about comeback a little bit in itself. Obviously, it's in its third year now. The opening year that the team came together, first year that was in, obviously it was in lockdown, where we weren't officially allowed spectators other than registered coaches. And then the second year last year, we eventually had it on the bank holiday in the scorching heat. Can you give me a bit of a backstory of your, what's your story of the comeback? Have you watched it? Have you raced it?
So I've never raced it myself, but I've always been there, either watching on the stream, you and Becca, or I've been on the sideline. Last year I was right there on the sideline cheering everyone on. It's just such a brilliant event. It is grassroots athletics through to an elite athletics at its best. And it's exactly what Battersea is about, the fastest park in the country.
Yeah, absolutely. I echo those points. And just in front of me, we're seeing some of the athletes getting their final preparations ready down that back straight, doing their final leg swings, impersonations of the can-can and strides before this opening race at 6:15. We're going to take one final drinks break, and then I think, Maddie, we are just a few minutes away, and we'll start to introduce these first athletes and get this show on the road.
Yeah, let's get this going.
Comeback 5,000 with race number 1, and if you look to the top bend of the track at the 200 metre start, you will see the athletes in this race just preparing, ready to kick things off. 12.5 laps tonight for each race, 5,000 metres. Some of these fields will be larger than others. And we're going to run through the runners in this race for you now. So, coming in with number 10 from Belgrave Harriers, home favourite, we have Natalie Beadle. Number 22, Laurel Bray. 64 is Lizzie Goldie-Scot. Number 65 is Laura Goodson. Number 39, Belgrave Harrier, Clemmie Cooper. 140, Peter Robinson. From Fulham Running Club, number 131, Armana Ray. From the same club, stablemate 89, Sam Kelly. Coming in from Guildford, 128 is James Parton. Number 63, Ben Gilmore. Number 167, Mark Williams. From Herne Hill Harriers, 153, Michael Tay. Number 88, also from Herne Hill, Helena Keenan. Running out of Kent AC, number 127, Alexa Parker. Number 27, Eloise Bull. Our first Southampton athlete of the evening, number 79, Joe House. Number 103, Alex McCullough. 179, Imogen Amos. And number 24, Emily Brown. So, Maddie, there's your field for race number 1. What are you thinking in the moments leading into the start line, those 2 minutes before the gun goes?
It's an exciting race. There's a lot of people that are just about that 17-20 mark. I wonder if we'll see anyone in this race putting past that pacer. The pacer's going off at about 17:20, but we do know that there's someone who's run 16:50 on the road last year. That was James Parton, so maybe they'll be trying to push the race on. But yeah, it's an interesting race. It's wide open. There are a number of PBs ranging from that 16:50 up and through 19 minutes, so it'll be good.
Be interesting to see how they do approach the race, obviously after the pacemaker does drop out, depending on how far that pacer does get into the race. And do you think it's a case of, right, well, once the pacer drops out, we all help each other and go for the best time possible, or is it all about bragging rights to take the win at home track Battersea?
It's an interesting one. I think when it comes to these races, you're either going for the time or you're going for the win. And so I think there'll be different groups here, some that are being more sensible, sticking to the pace. They know exactly what pace they need to run that PB. And then there'll be those people that are there for the win, and they'll be the ones that sit and kick. So we'll see who has the biggest kick at the end, I reckon.
Bragging rights is remembered a little bit more than a win, I reckon, especially around these parts.
Yeah.
Battersea is obviously the fastest park in the UK, so you want to try and get the win if you can. But we're down to the last few moments now. I reckon we're going to leave it and put it under starters' orders for race number 1 of the Comeback 5000.
Ready? Go for this? Yeah. It's like gladiator. Timekeeper's ready. Track ready. On your mark. Somebody stumbled. Thanks, John. On your mark.
Asking, this is the comeback 5,000. We've been waiting 365 days for this one, and I'm absolutely proud to say that we are away in race number 1. On that home straight, you're going to hear it a lot tonight. Please do come and get out of your seats. Please do come in front of that barrier and come and support these athletes, especially in this early stages. But straight away, Maddie.
That's Michael Tay out the front, going through 200 in.
A swift little time with the Herne Hill Harrier.
33 seconds. So Michael Tay's clearly got something to show here.
Michael Tay doesn't need a pacemaker, Maddie. He is the pacemaker. But it's an interesting tactic. He set his stall out early, and it'll be interesting to see whether anyone goes with it. But at this stage, early on, 300 metres in, Michael Tay is away and clear. And when they come around in front of us next time, we'll get a good look, because these athletes are already strung out. Single file. I can see various clubs from the local scene in southwest London, and of course can see the Belgrave Harriers vest. Yeah, you can see Belgrave Harriers are probably dominating in this race. I think I can see 4 or 5, maybe even 6 there. So yeah, everyone's looking good. 1 lap in. Nice to see some groups forming. Maybe people can work together and try and work towards getting towards that those PBs. And he's gone. He went through the first lap there in around the 74-75 second mark. So in actual fact, the whole field was inside set pace. So either every single person in this race has gone off too fast, or everyone in this race is just in great shape. But either way, we're well inside race pace, and we're on for sub-17 clock-ins if they can keep this up.
Yeah, we've got Michael Tay here with his qualifying time being 17:58, so he's on course to absolutely smash that, if that's true.
So once again, if you are in the stadium and you are sat down on your phone scrolling TikTok, looking out to get a best air fryer recipe, get yourself up off the seat, come on the track, get yourself a beverage. There's my man in the green jacket, he's following my instruction perfectly, and come and support these athletes. Even if you're racing tonight, you're going to need that support 6 or 7 laps in. So don't be shy, get yourself on the track and come and do it the comeback way.
You can see those 2 Guildford guys towards the back working together. They would have trained and raced together throughout the last few years. That's actually my old club, Guildford Economy. Got a big attachment to Guildford.
That's your old club, is it? Is there a story there?
Not really. I moved to London, so now I'm Thames. But yeah, my heart will always be with Guildford. Sorry, Thomas.
I thought there was going to be some dirt that we could unleash there. I was actually really hopeful for it, but it's early days, Maddie. We'll find something in your closet soon. But back to the race on the track. That's what we're here for. Comeback's all about the action on the track, but also what's going on in the stands. But this race itself is almost split up into 3, with Michael Tay well and clear out in front, and then 2 further groups in the race. So at this point, it's obviously early days in the race, but it looks like Michael Tay is he's obviously feeling good leading into this one.
Yeah, he's well out in front of that pacemaker. So you can see that pacemaker leading out that second group. And he's got a good pack behind him. So they've all got someone to work with there. There's 4 of them sitting on his shoulder, itching to go, but probably not the right time to start going. And then there's a good little pack behind, so hopefully they can all still work together.
Now let's talk about Battersea, Maddie. As you'll know from being in the area, it's a very fast park, arguably the fastest park in the UK if Steve Gardner had his way and told everyone that. But what is it about Battersea Park that just is a haven for not just fast runners, but athletics clubs in general?
Do you know what? I'll put it down to 3 things. I'll put it down to the fact that it's completely flat, the fact that it's so sunken down that it never feels like there's any wind, and the number of runners that run around it. Like, you'll come down here on a Tuesday night and it's a runner's haven. You've got your Cottage group, you've got your Belgrave group, you've got your Tunbridge group, you've got your Clapham Chasers, you've got everyone, and they're all darting around Clapham Common on Battersea Park on a Tuesday night.
Eggshells, don't name the wrong park.
So Clapham Common is definitely not the fastest park in London.
So we're just looking at the live stream there. We've had a few comments coming in. There's a few people that have returned to watch us, like Owen Hughes. I know he's a big long-time fan of Comeback. And one thing that the YouTube viewers and also anyone that's just watching in the stadium might not be aware of is that we are doing a donation prize pot this evening. So any of the beverages that are sold tonight, all of that money goes into the prize pot and will be split for the elite races. And anyone on the stream as well can also donate. And alternatively, you can go onto belgraveharriers.com and donate there as well. So I know it's tough times at the moment and there's a cost of living crisis, but if you've got a few quid lying down the back of the sofa, pop it in your ISA, pop it over to your classic, and then give it down to comeback so we can spread it out to the winners.
Yeah, it's an absolutely brilliant event, and yeah, I definitely put some money towards it. So you can see here that just behind the pacer, or who's actually just gone past the pacer, I think that might be Alexa Parker from Kent, who's PB 1750, but clearly on course to smash that, if I'm correct in who that is. She's
made a real break there from that second group, which is led by our pacemaker Sam Somerville. Big shout out. But yeah, we've had a move here from number 127. That is we'll just check that. That is Alexa Parker from Kent. She comes into this race with a 1750 qualifying mark, and she is now making the chase to Michael Tay and bridging that gap. And well, it's the first time I'm going to say it, but we've got a race on our hands.
Yes, we definitely do. And don't count out those three that are sitting behind the pacer.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see from that larger group behind Alexa Parker who's going to make that break and follow her, and see if they can bridge the space between Tay and the chasing group. And even further back in the field, I can see that moves are starting to be made there from the Fulham athletes, and I can still see the Belgrave contingency there running strong. Clemmie Cooper looking good, and it's great to see local London running clubs supporting this event so strongly.
I can also see just in that front group sitting behind the pacer, you've got Imogen Amos. So she's a Tonbridge athlete coached by Richard Owen, so she'll be training in the park with the likes of Verity and Lucy Reid, who are both in the elite women's race. So we'll see what training is with them can do with her race, because she seems to be coming through there.
Do you think that training with athletes of such pedigree, that either they've got great PBs or they're running well themselves, do you think that that's a massive contributing factor to bringing you on as an athlete?
Yeah, 100%. They always say to progress as an athlete, train with people better. There's nothing better than training on your own and feeling like you're flying, but when you put yourself in that position when you're training with people that can run 20 seconds quicker than you over 5k, that's where you really start to progress. So yeah, I would 100% always train with someone better than you, and yeah, watch yourself fly.
Maybe that's where I went wrong. I used to always train with people slower than me to make myself feel good, but it does wear thin.
Yeah, I don't know, something about the ego boost though, isn't there?
We all like our ego stroke. But back to the track action, and it's still Michael Tay out in front, but Alexa Parker is hot on his heels now. So we have two athletes out in front, Herne Hill Harriers followed by Kent AC, and then that chasing pack with our pacemaker still following around 10 or 15 yards further back. So it's not wrapped up this race just yet, but I'm starting to feel that if there is going to be a clear winner from this one, it may come from Tay or Parker.
Yeah, so is there an argument that maybe Tay's gone off too hard? I mean, that gap has closed, but he's still holding it. And maybe if Parker can catch up, they can start working together and really, really push towards what could potentially be a sub-17.
Yeah, that would be a huge run from some of these athletes. Obviously, the pace that was set on the start list was 17:20, and many of these athletes are well on course to go inside that mark. So hopefully some shiny new PBs are going to come out of comeback tonight. And if we look a little bit ahead of some of the races further on in the evening, Maddie, obviously we've got some athletes that have travelled far and wide for tonight. And why wouldn't you, with how fast this track is? Obviously fastest park in the UK. We've had athletes coming all the way from Scotland. I mean, what a trip that is. I wonder where they're staying.
Yeah, there are actually two, I think, in the men's race who both run for Falkirk. So, yeah, give them a big shout out. They're probably not here yet, though, to be honest.
Yeah, they've definitely clocked some miles already to get down here, and hopefully they enjoy their stay in sunny southwest Battersea. But actually, compared to Scottish weather, this probably is quite nice weather, isn't it? It
is actually very mild tonight, like in terms of temperature levels, it's pretty warm, but nothing like last year. Remember, last year was absolutely scorching. And then the wind, there is a little bit, but not much. I think you can't ask for more from London in summer.
Yeah, last year's comeback was a heat wave by our standards. It was bang on bank holiday, so we had to leave the track by 5 p.m. So unfortunately, we had to do it a little bit earlier on in the day. Whereas tonight, we've got the gift of the floodlights. It will be under the lights later on for some of those later races to give it that real nice warmth feeling, warmth atmosphere. But hopefully, we can get some fast times later on in the evening. But back to this race, Maddie. We've still got a 2-horse race out in front. We've still got Michael Tay led from Alexa Park with that chasing group, which is just starting to split up now. And I feel that if that chasing group is going to make a break to get after these two leaders. They're going to have to do it in the next lap or so, because we are approaching 10 minutes in this race. We're at what we call in the commentary world the business end.
And that is sitting on the pacemaker. We've got Imogen Amos and Peter Robinson. So Peter's run 17:48 and Imogen Robinson doesn't have a qualifying time down, but I know she's in good shape. So let's watch them. They might be able to close. You can just see Peter going past the pacemaker, and let's hope Imogen can follow.
And we've got moves up further up in the race. Alexa Park just pulled out there into lane 2 to make the pass on Michael Tay, and she does. So we have a new leader in race number 1, a comeback 5,000. It is Alexa Park from Kent AC. Michael Tay just a couple of strides further back. That gap is just starting to open, and further back in the field. Do you know what? The Tonbridge athlete Imogen Amos is having a fantastic race this evening. She's further back in 4th. And this race is starting to really hot up now, and I feel that this could be 4 athletes in it. It's really tightening up at the front of this race.
Yeah,
but Alexa Park turning the screw.
Yeah, I think that Peter's closing here, and that he's doing a big favour here for Imogen Amos. So if she can stick on him, I think they might close up to a group of 4, and maybe they can all work together.
Yeah, I think you're right. Peter Robinson's really helping Imogen there. Just come back to this group. But it's still Alexa Park on the front, Michael Tay in 2nd, Robinson further back in 3rd, with Imogen Amos from Tonbridge AC, coached by Richard Owen, in 4th. It's these 4 out in front. They're going to come down to the lap time here with 4 laps left to run. 1,600 metres left in this one, ladies and gents.
It's always that 3rd mile, isn't it, Lloyd, where it starts to hurt.
3rd mile? First one don't feel too great either, Mandy. But I do get your sentiment. Yeah, that 3rd mile, sorry, you were saying.
Yeah, I don't know. 2nd mile, they say, you start to lose concentration, and then the 3rd is where it starts to hurt. But I don't think any of those top 4 have lost concentration yet. And you can see we've got a race on now with, I think all 4 are still in this.
So you can just see the slight hesitation in the front 3 there as they've packed up. And I think they've started to think, okay, who's going to take this on? Am I going to go for the win? Am I going to keep pushing? And that's just allowed Imogen Thomas to really close up there. And we've now got a group of 4. And just as I say that, Michael Tay, our early leader from Herne Hill, shot past Alexa Park, and Peter Robinson on the outside responds very well. And I think they must have heard me talking about them. They must have heard their ears burning about hesitating, because I feel like they've shot a bit of pace into the race. But Imogen Thomas still there.
Yeah, I would say Imogen looks good. Actually, you know what, my money's on Imogen Amos here. She looks like she's got some more left.
But you know, one thing we've not considered is, if you've got your cap backwards, you've got to back your finish.
No, that is true, and you will always back the Belgrave, won't you?
Yeah, I will, until the meeting ends. I've got to back the home club Belgrave, but that's not to say that none of these other athletes can win this race, and it is still 4 in it with 1,200 metres left to run. It's Tay, Robinson, Parker and Amos in this for race number 1 at Comeback. And if these athletes are passing in front of you and you are inside the stadium, please do get behind them. Your support is invaluable, especially with just a few laps remaining.
And actually, what an incredible determination there from Michael Tay. It's a hard graft going out on your own solo, but he's still there. He's still right at the front, so don't count him out.
Then further back in the field, 2 athletes in front of me just passing there. That's number 65, that's Laura Goodson from Belgrave, and number 10, Natalie Beadle from the same club, working really well together. It's great to see these athletes working together within a race, probably trained together, if not friends, both grafting their own goals. That's what you want to see within these races, and that's one point we made last year, Maddie. You could focus on the front of the race. It's very easy to do, of course, but every single athlete in every single race has got their own goal, their own times, and got their aspirations they want to train towards, and that's what it's about, isn't it? Getting absolutely everything out of yourself.
Yeah, 100%. Like, you're never always going to win, and to get in a race where people are better than you is almost better. Like, you'll really push yourself. It's interesting to see Natalie Beadle in there. We know that she's had an absolute breakthrough winter season running for Belgrave. She absolutely loves the hill. She absolutely loves the mountains. So she's testing herself on the track, but she's looking great.
So coming down this time with 800 metres left to run, no change in the order. It's still Robinson on the outside with Tay on the rail, tucked in nicely behind is Parker from Kent, and Amos on the outside. And as they go through with 2 laps left to run, Robinson puts the hammer down slightly and stretches the field Amos follows, but there is a gap at the front, and it's Peter Robinson hits the front for the first time tonight. Down at comeback 5,000, Robinson with his white cap backwards is not going to leave it to the kick. He's going to win it early, and he's looking strong down this back straight, don't you think?
Yeah, he's looking great, and that is a big shout out to Belgrave there. Look at him go. And then you can see those two girls working together, and then Michael Tay is still there.
And let's talk about that Belgrave Harrier strip. It's the talk of the town at the moment, isn't it, with the newly sponsorship with Tracksmith. What do you make of that singlet?
It is beautiful, I'll give it to you. And I Run for Thames were also sponsored by Tracksmith, so...
Well, I don't want to get in a competition about who was sponsored first. You know, I'm just on the committee as coaching secretary. I've got nothing to do with the kit, right, really.
I would say it is beautiful, and actually the hype around it's great. And yeah, I can't fault it.
Yeah, it gives a little bit extra, and I really like that the athletes get behind it. But into the home straight for the penultimate time, I feel like Peter Robinson has really taken this race by the grasp of the neck. And further back in the field, Alexa Park has made the break for second, and Imogen Amos is still there in third, and Michael Tay, our early time leader, is still there in fourth. But 400 metres left to run. Peter Robinson, he's probably got about 30 metres clear from Alexa Park, and that gap is just growing stride by stride, and we could be on for a super fast time here.
Yeah, look at him go. He's really pulling him away here. He's a dominant athlete, very tall, so he's striding away, and with every stride he's making a small gap on.
It's Alexa Park in second.
Parker, isn't it?
Yeah, he's like a fine gazelle down that back straight for the final time. Anyone in the stadium, I really want to hear you get behind these athletes as they do round the final turns. But it is Peter Robinson with 200 metres left to run. The Belgrave Harrier with the white cap backwards. It's his to lose. Alexa Park rallying well for second. Amos in third, battling with Tay for the podium. But it's 150 left to run. It's Robinson from Belgrave in a class of his own in race number 1. He rounds the final turn into the home straight and drives the arms. It's still Robinson from Parker. Great battle for the podium between Tay and Amos. Tay has overcome Amos for third, but Robinson's going to take the win here. Peter Robinson from Belgrave will take race number 1 at the comeback 5,000. Alexa Park will come strongly through for second, and Michael Tay, the Hernhill Harrier, our early time leader, will come through for third, with Imogen Amos a fantastic fourth place tonight.
And they've all absolutely smashed the times that they've qualified with, so let's hope there's at least 4 out of 4 PBs there.
Yeah, PBs is just a bonus, isn't it, as the rest of the field round the final turns into the home straight, as we said earlier, striving for their own goals and aspirations. Their coaches will be watching closely.
And do you know what? Nice to get it done. First race of the day. They can now enjoy the event and watch the next 6 races unfold.
Yeah, absolutely. If I was in that race, I'd already have a Beveragino in my hand. Probably get a cool down in first, but hey, look at that. Great effort from all of these athletes. And there's still races going on. If we turn our attention to the 150 mark, those 2 athletes from Belgrave that were running together earlier, that's number 65, that's Laura Goodson. She's made the break from Natalie Beadle and really put the hammer down, but Beadle responds. It's Goodson and Beadle in here, as well as number 27, that's Eloise Bull. What a great battle down the home straight between these ladies. Who's going to take the honours? All the way down to the finish line. Looks like it's going to be Goodson. It's going to be Goodson on this occasion. He just crosses the line there, ahead of her stablemate Natalie Beadle and Eloise Bull. Gallant effort there over the finish line. And number 39, Clemmie Cooper, coming round this final turn. Let's get behind Belgrave's own Clemmie Cooper, ladies and gents, with 100 metres left to run, striving down this home straight one more time. Great running there from Cooper.
Yeah, it's a brilliant run from Cooper. She's actually her first ever 5k on the track. She's an ex-modern pentathlete, so yeah, great to see her kicking it off on the track now.
So that's it, comeback is kicked off, race 1 done and dusted. I'm going to ask the first 3 finishers from that race if you could make your way over to the podium and we're going to celebrate you in comeback true style. So that's Peter Robinson, Alexa Parker and Michael Tay. If you could grab yourselves off of the floor, get your breath back and head over to the podium, please.
Right, so we can see the athletes on the back straight getting ready for race number 2. So this race is going to be paced at 16:15, and that's by Sam Somerville. So in this race we've got 138 Valentin Rigori from Belgrave. In fact, the first 6 of these starters are from Belgrave. We've got 161 Chris Warren, we've got 108 Charlie McCarthy, we've got number 4 Edward Anders, 148 Luke Smith, 159 Nathan Visick, 26 Nick Buckle. Then we've got from Croydon, we've got Elberton Bektik. Then we've got Luke Wakeling from Croydon, Nick Tearle from Guildford, Terry Booth from Guildford, and Simon Elsbury from Guildford. So that's 3 from Guildford there. Then from Herne Hill, we've got Adam Westbury, Andy Georgeson, Greg Mills, and Oliver Morrison. Then from Highgate, we've got Mattia Bernardi. From Hercules Wimbledon, we've got Justin Reed. Number 1, we've got Andrew Aitken. Number 125, we've got Tatsuya Okamoto. 100, we've got Andrew Lewis. 169, Alexander Wilson. And then 14, George Bennett. And 96, Jordan LeBlanc.
Well, looking at this one, Maddie, it's half of this field I'm in group chats with on WhatsApp. We've got number 108, Charlie McCarthy, good friend of mine. He's a good lad, he is. He's known as a good egg at Belgrave, Harry is. He's keen on the camera as a photographer and a videographer. And I know he's been training hard. He's coached by Callum Elson, who was supposed to be here, but I think he had a celebrity appearance somewhere, so he's not here. But yeah, Charlie's in great shape, and we've also got number, 14, George Bennett. He's also a good friend of mine. He's a keen photographer and videographer as well. He actually came to interview, he came to film an interview I did last week with an athlete. So great to see some good people in this race. Who else we've got? With Justin Reed. He's a managing director at TripAdvisor. I'm just name dropping now. I'm just picking these up one by one. But Justin, he's a good man as well.
And two I'd call out here are Tatsuya Okamoto, who's run 16:29 on the road last year, but also ran Rotterdam Marathon in 2:48 12 days ago, and then 1 week ago ran a 5k PB of 16:29 on the road.
No rest for the wicked.
No, completely ridiculous. But then almost more ridiculous, we've got Terry Booth, who is an absolute legend on the running scene. I think he might be the oldest comebacker here. Sorry, Terry.
Fine wine, Terry.
Yeah, runs for Guildford. His Strava is something to behold. He runs almost around 130 miles a week, 3 times a day, and loves to race. He raced, I think, over 57 times last year, including park runs, but I think that's a pretty good effort.
Wow, that's there's a lot to digest there, Paddy. There's a lot of mileage, there's a lot of runs, and there's a lot of races. But I like Terry. I like him by the sound of it. We've got to get him up here for an interview, surely, if he's all right after this race. But looking down the list here of qualifying performances, there are some. As we say, the race is paced at 16:15, so we're going to want to try and get in and around that 16:10 mark if we can. And a lot of these athletes are going to try and achieve that. Looking at the times they've come into this race with, that looks like that's going to be paced perfectly for them. And big shout out tonight to all of our pacemakers. We couldn't do this race without them. It's not everyone's here for times. Some people just want to win and just want to obviously race as hard as they can, but sign of a good meet is having pacemakers.
Yeah, and big shout out to Comeback for organising that, and obviously love the bibs.
Yeah, I personally designed them. No, I'm joking. I'll take credit for that. No, I only do what I'm half decent at, and that's talk. But yeah, a few minutes away from race number 2, ladies and gents, from the Comeback 5000, and the sun will soon be dropping, and the floodlights will soon turn on, and that's when the mood will slightly change into those elite races after 8 o'clock. But we are now under the starters' orders for race number 2. So away first time in race number 2 at Comeback 5000. We are looking for a clock in inside 16:15 tonight, and that pacemaker will be hanging out at around 78 a lap. And Sam Somerville obviously paced our first race. He's come back for race number 2 already, so he's doing a fine job, stellar job tonight for Comeback, and great to see him helping out. And this race already very, very bunched early doors, as you'd expect, through 200 metres. And our early leader, we can't quite see who that is, but we will wait until they come round in front of us. But Sam has stretched the field out nicely. When you're doing the 5,000, Maddie, you know, obviously 12.5 laps. You want to try and travel the least distances, you know, you want to run 5,000 metres bang on if possible. In these early laps, obviously, when you're feeling great and energy is at its premium, are you stressing too much about where you are situated on the track, or you just get me on that rail, get me on that rail?
I think first 2 laps all about position. Get yourself in the position, slot yourself in lane 1, and just know that you can trust the people in front of you to push up. You can see here that there is one out in front sitting on the pacemaker, and then there's a bit of a group behind. I wouldn't worry too much if you're in that group behind. They always seem to catch up. But that is number 15 out in front 4, which I think is Highgate, is it not?
It is, that's number 15, that's Mattia Bernardi from Highgate. He ran the Friday night under the lights 5k last week in 16:47. So he'll be hoping to better that mark this evening, and he certainly set it out early that he's going to do that.
Yeah, and then right behind him we've got number 14, so that's George Bennett. So he's run 17:05 today as well. So I reckon he is on for another one. He's on for a massive PB here if this can keep going.
Yeah, well, it seems that group there, it's pretty single file. It almost looks like a training group train, and that's what you want. That's what you want for a 5k time trial. You want someone just in front of you. You want people behind you to keep you on your toes. You don't want to be running around too many runners, staying on that rail as much as possible, and just, as they say, just getting on the train, ticking off the laps until we get to that business end of the race. But it is still Somerville, the pacer, out in front, with Bernardi tucked in on the rail behind him as they come through 800 metres in around 2:36, which is fantastic pacing, and that is bang on 16:15 pace. Shout out to one of our sponsors of the event, Days Brewing, 0% beers, pale ale and lager that we are enjoying up on the commentary gantry. So if you are in the market for 0%, I'd highly recommend you go and get one because they taste fantastic.
I would agree. I've done a few events in my time. When you finish and you get a Days, I'm always like, you know what, that's absolutely what I want. It's very refreshing for what is effectively a beer.
Tastes the same, feels the same, but you don't get a headache.
No.
Because I'm old now, so I do get those headaches.
I know how you feel.
So coming up to 3.5 minutes in this race, it's still Bernardi out in front from Highgate. Sam Somerville, our active leader as pacemaker, just having a look at the watch down the back straight. And about 20 metres back, this field is really bunched up nicely into a train, and hopefully those lads can work together and maybe at some point bridge the gap to Bernardi, but if not, just stick on their lap splits as they come through the lap mark here, just a tick outside 3 minutes 50. And we are still well on for that 16:15 clock in. And Maddie, I can see a few coaches around the outside of the track checking their watches and keeping on track for their athletes. I think it's one of those where it's not just the athletes on the track. You've got coaches, you've got parents, you've got friends, partners that are also invested in these results. So no pressure to the people on the track.
No, I always think it's almost worse if you're there as a partner or a coach, because if you're on the track you can go and do it. But standing on the sidelines can almost be unbearable. You want to jump in and do it for them.
Speak for yourself, Maddie. I'm quite comfortable up here on the gantry. So back to this race. It's still Bernardi out in front. Not much order change in the group behind, if I'm honest. I mean, there's so many runners in that pack. It's hard to see the positions changing, but we are going to focus on the Highgate Harrier out in front. Highgate is a club. They've had a great winter. Great performances at some of the road relays in the Southerns and the Nationals. Bernardi is no doubt surrounded by some great individuals in that North London club. And he's come southwest and he's laying his sword down, and we'll see if he can take the win in race 2 at the Comeback 5000.
I think that right at the front, I think I'm right in saying that's Luke Wakeling from Croydon. I think he's been part of Croydon since an under 15. I remember racing alongside him when we were young, and so he's back at it the last couple of years, focusing on road and track. So he looks good, he looks comfortable, and he's leading that group.
Also got another athlete in this group that's worth noting, number 114 from Herne Hill in the red and black stripes. That's Greg Mills. He's new to the club scene, interestingly, and he ran a very strong 16:22 at the Southern Road Relays on that road leg. So great to see him stepping up to the track this evening, and hopefully he can get stuck into that group and come home in a shiny new PB.
Yeah, there's a lot of people in that group. I reckon best place to be right now is sitting on the back of that and just riding that train. Because there's a lot of people in this race that are running between 16:30 and 17 minutes. So I think if you sit there, you're in a good place to run a good time.
Yeah, that's it. Park the bus, I would. And in that group, we've got Charlie McCarthy there in the bright pink spikes. You can't miss it, in the white Belgrave singlet. And interestingly, the singlets from Tracksmith, they do come in 2 colours at this club. It's great. They come in a white, and they also come in a lovely burgundy too. What colours do your club run in? Sorry.
So we actually have 2 vests. We have a training vest and then we have a racing vest. So our training vest is blue with a white stripe, which is beautiful classic Tracksmith colours, and then we've got our racing vest, which is white with the Thames hare and hound logo on the front.
Isn't it so nice when your club can have 2 strips?
Yeah. Anyone else's club has 2 strips?
Well, that's some privilege over here, and we should stop talking. People start throwing stuff at us. But back to this race, and not much change in the order other than the front of the group. That was 160. That was the Croydon Harrier that you mentioned earlier. There has been a change to the front of that. We'll just get a check on the vest. That's a Belgrave Harrier.
That's number 26. That's Nick Buckle. He has got the fastest time in this race. So his PB is 15:20, but he suffered a bit of spiking during the Surrey League. We can all say we've probably both run the Surrey League, and we know it can be a bit of madness there. So he's been injured for the last few months, but look at him go. 15:20 PB does put him quite far ahead of the rest of his field, so he's in good place, and everyone behind him probably can trust him to work his way back into that.
Well, hopefully the lads behind him steer clear of that Achilles. We don't want to be opening up any old wounds, but the Surrey League, you're right. I mean, if anyone's in the mood for some Netflix, go and have a look at Last Kingdom. That's basically a scene from the Surrey League. It's absolutely carnage on the battlefield. But a little bit cleaner racing down at the Millennium Stadium, and hopefully Nick Buckle can avoid any spikes and return to racing strongly.
There, and you can see 4th in that second pack is Okamoto. So he is the one that ran 12 days ago, ran 2:48, and 1 week ago ran a road PB, and he's there and he's back. So
And also,
I think that's incredibly impressive.
And also the fact that it wasn't just a marathon down the road; it was in Rotterdam as well. So there's the travel involved in that. Yeah, that's some stern running that is, to be able to do that. So, just looking in that group there, headed up by Nick Buckle. Further back in that group is George Phillips there in the black singlet. I believe he's coached by Ash Harrell from AJ Coaching. He's wearing that coaching singlet there. And Charlie McCarthy is 2 places back, and that group has started to split up. And what I feel, Maddie, is the strength of the 15:20 man starting to tell now, because he isn't slowing up. If anything, he's probably getting faster, or at least maintaining those splits. And whilst that group may start to falter, Nick Buckle is really stretching it out.
Yeah, and I would say that is the place to be. You pulled away from the group behind, but you've still got a hare to chase. So once that pacemaker drops out, I think we've got a proper race on our hands.
I think you're right. And to the front of this field, that pacemaker, still Somerville out in front with number 15 tucked in on the rail. That is Mattia Bernardi from Highgate. As I said, he ran recently, ran last week in a 5k around the park in 16:47, and he's now left to his own devices. So he'll come down to the lap marker this time with 5 laps left to run. 2k on the clock to run. It's Bernardi around 50 metres clear, further back to Nick Buckle from Belgrave Harriers.
Then we've got Okamoto, and then we've got the guy from Croydon, Luke Wakeling. And then right behind him, we've got another one who's run a marathon in the last month. So that's Luke Smith. Don't know what it is about this race and everyone running marathons in the last month.
I can't comment on that, but I wouldn't like to say from a commentary perspective, but from a coaching perspective, absolutely mental. So hopefully their legs are slightly recovered. I can't see that they are, but hey, who knows? Maybe they're just a stronger man than I am. So back to this race, out in front. If anything, that gap's getting bigger from Bernardi from Highgate as he goes through the lap marker there in just outside 10 minutes 20, 10 minutes 23 on the clock. And Nick Buckle is away and clear in second, but it's not over there for the podium positions. It's definitely not over. There's still a race that we have on our hands, and it's going to be interesting to see who can rally well in the final 2k to make the podium in race number 2 at Comeback 5000.
A totally different race to the last race. You can see everyone's very strung out, but it's definitely not over for those top 3 positions. You can see we've got the Croydon and the Belgrave Harriers just running straight up to those 3.
Yeah, that's Okamoto as well from Striders of Croydon there. He's running really well for 3rd, and he's almost been the only athlete who's been able to commit to Nick Buckle's move, and that's taking him away from the Croydon Harrier in Luke Wakeling. So it'll be interesting to see whether Okamoto can make that break, bridge the gap and get on the shoulder of Buckle. But out in front, a fantastic effort early doors from Bernardi. He set his stall early, he got straight on the pacemaker, Somerville's shoulder, and he hasn't let up. And considering that he raced last week in 16:47, I'd love to see him go faster here. Maybe we can get a performance inside 16:20. So it's Bernardi out in front, donning the white headband. He rounds the turn. He will have 3 laps left to run. 1,200 metres left for Bernardi. Nick Buckle is your next man, but he's being chased hard by the marathon man, Okamoto.
And at this point it really is, what does Okamoto have left in his legs? We know that he's strong. He's run a marathon and a 5k PB in the last 2 weeks. So it'd be good to see what he can do in the latter stages of this race.
I'm just struggling to think or find. I mean, what can you have left in those legs? What are you made of, my friend?
It's completely ridiculous.
I rate it in a way, in the sense of you know, being a daredevil. Good for you. You know, at the end of the day, modern day shoes, the foam. Nowadays you can run a marathon 7 days of the week and be all right. So it must be those new springy Nikes. And if you are in the market for some running shoes, go and buy a pair of Nikes. They're very good. So just a reminder to anyone watching on the stream, if you're watching on YouTube, you can donate to the prize pot for the elite races tonight. All you need to do is click the link in the description and give a donation of your choice. And if you are inside the stadium, you can do the same, but you can get a free beer out of it. So if you want a beverage tonight before or after your race, you can go and get a free one, and we ask for you to consider a donation which will go to the prize pot. And if you're watching online and you can't find the description, go on belgraveharriers.com and you can also donate there. All the proceeds go to the elite races. And this race is really starting to hot up. We're back into the front of it with Bernardi. Less than 800 metres left to go. That gap from him to Buckle, it looks too big. If anything, it may have closed 5-10 metres, but I feel like unless Bernardi really suffers, I think this Mark 1 has to be wrapped up.
Yeah, I agree, and you can see that he's got the back in his sight, so he's got hares to chase now. So yeah, I reckon he's away here, but let's just see how fast can Bernardi run.
In terms of giving predictions as a commentator, if there's one thing I've learned from watching the London Marathon at the weekend, my good friend Lewis Moses commentated with Hannah England, and he made a comment at 12 miles that Sifan Hassan was done. She should step off.
Never count out Hassan.
Never count out Hassan. And I saw him after the race, and he said to me, he said, Lloyd, I've got the BBC gig, biggest job of my life, and I think I've made the worst call in athletic history. So hopefully we don't one-up that tonight.
To be fair, I think everyone made that call pretty early on. It's a pretty special feat to be able to stop mid-marathon and still win.
Absolutely right, and maybe Bernardi's trying to channel his inner Sifan Hassan tonight. Down at Battersea, the fastest park in the UK. Bernardi is within 1 lap left to run. He has heard the bell. Nick Buckle's gone through and Okamoto will follow. But it looks like a one-horse race in this one. Bernardi from Highgate, he set his stall early doors, he hit the front, tucked in behind the pacemaker, and he's now on the back straight for the final time. 250 metres left to run for the Highgate man. Nick Buckle, fair play to him from Belgrave. He is rallying very well for second, but I fear that this gap is too far for the 15-20 man, too close. 200 metres left to run. It's still Bernardi from Highgate. Just a tick over 15:35 on the clock. If he can close well here in the last 150, we could be on for a massive time for him. Nick Buckle rallying very well for second, with Okamoto, the marathon man, going through. 200 left to run, but into the home straight. It's Bernardi from Buckle. As Bernardi opens up the stride and drives his arms down to the finish line, we are looking at a very fast time. We could have something around the 16:10, 16:15 mark here. Into the final 5 metres, it's going to be Bernardi from Highgate. Watch the clock. 16:12.
And that is a massive PB from Bernardi. His previous best was 16:30, so he's going to be absolutely chuffed. And I think Nick Buckle will be as well. So having been injured for the last few months, it's a great run out from Nick.
Yeah, Nick Buckle came really well through there for second, around 16:18, and Okamoto, the marathon man, wasn't too far off inside 16:25 as well as the rest of the field. Luke Wakeling from Croydon over the line, and the rest of the field coming down now. Great battle there between George Phillips and Charlie McCarthy, all sprinting for the line, trying to get those PBs down.
And there's a lot of sub-17 here, so I reckon that is a lot of PBs we've just seen crossing that line.
Yeah, looking at our start list there in the qualifying march, I think there is going to be a lot of PBs in that list, which is great to see.
So if we can get the top 3 from that race heading towards the podium, that would be great. So if we could get Mattia Bernardi, Nick Buckle and Tatsuya Okamoto to head over to the infield to the podium, we've got a lovely bottle of fizz for you.
So yeah, no expense spared. Down at Comeback 5000, bottle of bubbly awaits you, gentlemen. If you could find your way over to the podium, which is 50 metres down the home straight on the infield, at your earliest convenience, and we will celebrate your achievements tonight. So I can just see there George Phillips and that's Mattia Bernardi there, the race winner. Just having a little chat after the race. It's one of those, it's like caption this. What do you think they're talking about?
I reckon they're talking how much I hurt.
I reckon they're talking about how much Arsenal bottled it in its cities for the title now.
And that's Nick Tearle there, giving his guns to the camera.
Yeah, anyone got a ticket? Go and see him. So if we get the first 3 finishes in that race to the podium, please. You'll see the very fine looking Steve Gardner right by there now on the infield, 50 metres down the home straight. If we could get you there as soon as possible, that would be grand. So Mattia Bernardi, Nick Buckle and Tatsuya Okamoto, please do make yourselves known and get straight over to the podium so we can celebrate your achievement before we set off race number 3. So final call for the first 3 finishers in that last race. Mattia Bernardi is already over there waiting, but if we could get Nick Buckle and Tatsuya Okamoto over to the podium, please. I can see Tatsuya there. There he goes. So if you're watching on the stream tonight on YouTube, don't be afraid to give it a shout out if you've got any friends or family that are racing tonight, or you just want to shout out your club mates or your club. Go into the live chat, keep it clean-ish, and give whoever you like a shout out. Or if you've got any questions for us to up on the gantry, you can fire them through. We've had a few funny ones over the years. Some of them I can't repeat, but don't be shy.
There we go, I think that might be all 3 finishers.
Yep, I think you're right. All right, we're going to present this now. So, in race number 2, ladies and gents in the stadium, I want to hear you get behind these athletes. In 3rd place with a fantastic run, it is Tatsuya Okamoto. Coming home for second in race number 2 from Belgrave Harriers, Nick Buckle. It's alright, they'll stand on the podium in a second. And your race winner of race number 2 at Comeback 5000, it is Mattia Bernardi. Go on, give it a shake. Let's go.
And look at that.
Hey! That's what we like, that's what we like. And straight back to the track, Maddie. Are you going to call this one in for us? Do you want to run through the start list?
Yep, I can do. So this is race number 3. So here we've got paced for 15:40. It's a big field again, but that didn't worry the last people. We've got from Herne Hill Harriers, George Withers, number 171. We've got from Herc Wimbledon, Richard Jones, 182. Number 45, Robert Donahue from Kent. 83, Alex Jack from Herne Hill. 130, Alex Prinsep from Ranelagh. 149, Oliver Smith from Belgrave. 90, we've got big Rob Kelly. Don't know what makes him big, but he's from Belgrave. We've got 142, Adrian Russell from Dulwich. We've got Matteo Gala from Kent. We've got Eoin Brady from Thames Hare and Hounds. We've got Jacob Atwal from the University of Southampton. We've got Will Driscoll from Belgrave. Tom Squires from Hillingdon. Oliver Garner from Thames Hare and Hounds. Jack William, another one from Southampton. We've got Simon Coombes from Herne Hill. We've got Joseph Houlton from Fulham. We've got 32, Rory Chang from Marlborough. 44, Rhys Doherty from Best Athletics. 157, Richard Thornburn. 168, Ryan Willmott. 46, Tom Drayton. And 186, Will Sullivan. So I can hear them all being called to the start line.
So away in race number 3 of 6 races this evening in Comeback 5000. And we are getting a few shout outs on the chat, on the stream. We've got a shout out for Jonathan Findell and another shout out for Tom Squires, who is really apparently from Crocs Elite Plodders.
I can't say I've ever heard of Croxy Plodders, but...
Not the famous Croxy Plodders, you've not heard of them?
Big fan of the name.
Yeah, big fan of that, Tim. But yeah, clearly a story for a later date there. But back to the track, race number 3 is away and very hot on the pace early doors. 30 seconds, was that 30 seconds through 200? I missed it there, but that was very swift.
It was very swift. We'll try and get a name on that, whoever that is shortly.
Oh, I think this isn't a 1500, is it? It's a 5,000 metres, right? Oh, they've hit the front hard. I like it. I like the attitude. It's good to see. We like fast runs down at Battersea because obviously it's the fastest park in the UK, don't you know?
We do indeed. And yeah, so we've got 2 right off the front there, and then 1 hanging on. That's Hercules Wimbledon hanging on there, and then we've got the big group at the back. But yeah, I wouldn't panic if I was anyone there right now.
We'll get a check on this singlet as they come past. That's Herne Hill, that's number 168. That's Ryan Willmott there. He comes into this race with a qualifying performance of 16:20. And according to his notes here, he runs laps around Tooting Common the wrong way. So I just hope he finds his way around the track tonight for 12.5.
There is something about Tooting Common. There is a big contingent that run there every morning at 7:45, and they will always run at the exact same area at Tooting Common.
It's a bit of a cult, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I had an athlete that I coached who inquired to me. He said, "Oh, I've heard about these group runs at Tooting. Can I get involved?" And I said, "Oh, it's way above my pay grade to answer that, my friend."
I went down once, but apparently because I didn't start at the right point or finish at the right point, I never counted as anyone who's done a Tooting lap.
That's tough going, that is. That's very tough going. We're a little bit more accepting down at Comeback than that Tooting Bet crew. But back to the front of this race, it's still Willmott from Herne Hill out in front. We'll get a check on the athlete who's tucked in on second, but 800 into this one, and good times on. We're inside 220 there. That's inside 70 a lap. I mean, if they carry on at this pace, we could be looking at about 14:25 here in this race.
Yeah, it is very quick indeed. So that's number 32 who's sitting on that shoulder.
That's Rory Chang there. That's the under 20 from Marlborough, one of the younger athletes in this race.
He's got a great range. He's run a 2-minute 800 indoors and a 72-minute half marathon this year, and as an under 20, I don't think you can ever count them out.
Yeah, he's clearly got some wheels in the locker there, and also some strength with that 72 half for his age. That's not missing about at all. And they go through the first K there. They're going to be well inside 3 minutes there. That's 2:54, 2:55 through the K. I mean, fair play to these lads. They are really setting their stall. But what I think they've done as well is they've dragged the field through. I think the whole field is running a lot further ahead than they probably anticipated, so it should be interesting to see how they negotiate that further into the race.
Yeah, you can see they've really strung out that field. I think they'll be doing some favours to people towards the back who will definitely be running faster than they would if they were bunched up.
Seen a few more athletes that have run marathons in the last few weeks towing the line tonight. It's going to be very interesting to see how those legs fare. Very big contrast between the streets of London or Manchester and 12.5 laps around Battersea.
We've got Rhys Doherty in there who's running for Best Athletics. He's a 15:47 man, but he ran 2:25. But I've just heard he's not running, so just ignore everything I just said.
That's all right. What are friends for, Maddie? So who's the athlete on the front of that second pack there? We will get a name on him. That's number 21.
Number 21. So it says Eoin Brady, but it says he runs for Thames Terra Nouns, but he's definitely running for Hercules. But let's just say it's Eoin Brady.
Interesting. We might have a little bit of recruitment there from the Wimbledon clan, which we're used to in the Surrey League. They're a bit of a Man City. They sign anyone they like. We're hearing some reports here from our pitchside Jeff that Eoin Brady he's on his third club within how long, Steve? Within 12 months. That's incredible CV, That's incredible CV. But he's Wimbledon, so we're going to call him a Hercules Wimbledon athlete tonight because that's what he's wearing. Hope he makes it home alive. But we do now have a clear leader in this one. Ryan Willmott has tucked into the group. Our early time leader may be suffering from that early pace, but he's tucked in nicely on the rail. And that is our under 20 out in front. That's Rory Chang from Marlborough. He's got a qualifying performance here of 15:35, which very much inside that pace so far, so it'll be interesting to see.
So another race where we've got a lot from Southampton here, all coached by Steve Phillips, a massive contingent from SDR. Southampton Distant Runners Elite are all down, so yeah, I think there's probably some internal battles going on there.
At which point do you become elite?
It's an interesting question.
Because I saw a term today, clearly it wasn't very busy, sub-elite. And I asked myself, at which point do you reach sub-elite? And why aren't you elite? And then what's below sub-elite? Is it sub-sub-elite?
Yeah, that is a fair point. And also, what coins elite? Like, I saw there's someone I think he was in the previous race, his power of 10, claimed that he was a mediocre jogger. He's about a 15-minute man. He might come for the next race, actually. I thought that was actually just quite insulting to everyone else who runs over 15 minutes.
I actually hate the term jogger. I remember during COVID, there was all those reports in the newspapers about joggers being the main cause of the spread of the virus. I just thought, I'm no jogger. No, I don't jog. It's too hard to be jogging.
No, I completely agree.
So yeah, maybe we'll settle that argument of what sub-elite and elite means later on. But we are here for track action, and Rory Chang is as well. He's come over from Marlborough, the under 20, and he's going to come down to the lap this time with 7 laps left to run. 7 left in this one. And we've got some nice groups forming in this 5,000 metre race, and it's going to be interesting to see whether anyone can break from one of these chase groups and get after Chang.
I can see Oliver Smith there from Belgrave just pushing up into 3rd place. So he had a tough run out at the Southern Road Relays, but he's much more of a middle distance man. He's run 1:58 for 800. So if he's still there with 800 to go, I know who my money will be on.
So I've had a little bit of shout out in the chat. We've got YouTube fanatic Philly Bowden. She's gassing you up, Maddie. Do you want to read that one, or do you want me to?
I love Philly Bowden.
She clearly loves you too, because she said, Maddie Austin, we love you, and she's sad that she's not here. We're sad you're not here too, Philly, and we would love to have you back at Comeback, whether it be on the mic,
on the vlog or on the track.
And she's got a big marathon coming up. I think she's doing Copenhagen. Is that next week after?
She is. I'm actually interviewing her on Monday.
Oh.
I hope she knows that. I've just confirmed it.
Also, note there's no Lloyd Kempson, we love you. So.
Well, wait until after the interview. She might love me after that. But no, I've known Philly quite a long time. Hopefully we're on good terms. I really hope that. But back to the track. Our pacemaker there has now pulled out. And we do have a new time leader in this one. That's number 149 from Belgrave. That's Oliver Smith that you mentioned earlier about his leg at the relays. But he's coming back down tonight at Battersea to set the record straight. And he's taken the lead from Chang in this one. And there's a slight gap of those two getting away. Maybe this is a decisive break. And maybe this is the move that might take the win for either Oliver Smith or Chang.
And then you can see that's Joseph Houlton there, I think, from Fulham, who's just sitting in fourth, but looks like he might come past the hurt guy. But I still think there's a good pack there of 4, and maybe even 5. That guy there in 5th can push forward.
We've had some more support for athletes in this race. We've got support for Southampton's Jacob Atwal to win this one. I'm not ruling him out, but he would have to drop some dirty 400 splits to win it from that far back. But hey, we don't know what's in the locker for these Southampton lads and girls tonight. You know, clearly in shape to have the sizes of the group that they've brought down here tonight to South West London. And it's great to see clubs from all over, not just from London. We've got clubs from, as we say, Southampton. We've got clubs from further up into the Midlands, and even clubs as north as Scotland, from Central AC and Falkirk. And I think that just epitomises the beauty of comeback. It's not a London meet, it's based in London, but it's open to anyone.
And I still would, I think 2 may be pulled away there, but I think there's still 4 in it, and maybe even 5.
So it's still Oliver Smith from Belgrave. It's great to see Rory Chang there from Marlborough. He's taken a sit on the rail. He's led for quite a lot of this race, and he's now got the opportunity to just sit on the shoulder and take a bit of a sit, slip in that slipstream, save some energy. And these two are really putting the hammer down. And our Hercules Wimbledon man that we spoke about earlier,
Eoin
Brady, yeah, he's still there. Brady's still there in 3rd. And who's that we've got in 4th there, Maddie? That's a Fulham athlete, number 78.
So that's Joseph Houlton. So yeah, he's Fulham. I think he's still there. I think a 4 there, definitely. And then we've got 151 there. So who's 151? We've got Tom Squires from Hillingdon.
We've got some support from the live stream there.
And then that is Tom Squires there for Hillingdon, that is sitting in 5th. So he ran 16:08 here last year, so he's definitely on course to do that or thereabouts. But he's apparently continuing an incredible journey from Lyme disease. So, and you can see he is closing that top 4.
Yeah, that's a great story. Tom Squires, he's been at comeback a couple of times now, and we always talk about his return from Lyme disease, and I'm a big fan favourite. I like Tom Squires, and I really hope he can make contact back to that group. And do you know what? He's doing it really patiently. He's really using his energy sensibly, and he's stretching that effort out. And if he keeps on at this rate, in the next couple of laps, he might find himself on the back of that group, but he might run out of runway, because these 4 and Squires are going to hit the lap this time with 1200 left to run. So 3 laps left in race number 3 down at comeback 5000. It is Oliver Smith from Belgrave on the front, with Rory Chang tucked in in 2nd. The Wimbledon athlete.
That is Eoin Brady, who is still down as a Thames Home, but also
You got to let it slide.
You've got to let it go.
And that's the Fulham athlete there, tucked in 4th. That's Joseph Houlton. It's these 4 with about 10 or 15 yards back to Tom Squires. And any one of these 5 could take the win in race number 3. And it's going to be found out in the next couple of laps.
Or I think if Oliver Smith is still there, I mean, he is right at the front now. If he's still there with a few laps to go, got to have the money on him, the middle distance man.
So much support in the live chat for Tom Squires here. So no pressure.
on him. But yeah, so many of his friends and family are clearly tuned in tonight, so hopefully he can be rewarded with, if not the win, at least a time that he's proud of. And moves are being made at the front of this one. Oliver Smith has gone from first to fourth in the matter of 10 strides, and the Fulham athlete Houlton is now taking the lead. Brady has followed from Wimbledon, and Chang in third, but Oliver Smith just tucked on the back of this quartet as they come down to the lap with 800 metres left to run. Tom Squires still there in fifth, but I feel that these four are well away now.
Yeah, we've got a great battle up the front there now. 2 laps to go. That's where the moves start to get made.
Yeah, you're totally right, Maddie. Joseph Houlton is really putting the hammer down, and he's stretching that group.
You can see we've lost one now there already. So there's top 3 there. Let's see if they can hold it.
Oliver Smith, our earlier leader, is the first to break, so it's now down to 3. It's Joseph Houlton from Fulham. Tucked in on the rail in second is Eoin Brady. Rory Chang from Marlborough, the under-20, is still there in third, but he's just losing touch to these front 2 as Houlton still attacks. With 600 metres left to run, it's still Houlton from Fulham, putting the hammer down on the front of race number 3. He's now only got one left with him. As he rounds the turn in front of the crowd, it's Houlton from Brady, Chang still there in third, and Tom Squires closing in on Oliver Smith for the 4th position. They will hear the bell this time. These 2 still out in front. It's Houlton from Brady, 400 metres left to run. The bell chimes.
2 both there. This has definitely come down to a sprint finish, do you think?
Yeah, it's who's got the biggest kick at this point. That's just a little gap there for Brady. For me, that's just a little bit too big, and if anything, that gap is now starting to open. Houlton has really turned the afterburners on down the back straight this final time.
I wouldn't cut Brady out there.
Brady responds well, the Wimbledon man, 3rd club in a year, and he has come down to show what he's made of. So Brady is now back on the tail of Houlton. It's these 2 out in front, half a lap left to run, 200 left to go. They're managing some traffic now as they overtake some of the field, but it's still Houlton on the rail. Brady tucked in his slipstream. 150 left to run in this one. Chang running well for 3rd. Ollie Smith running well for 4th, with Squires in 5th, but it's still Houlton from Fulham. Brady pulls out into lane 2 to make the pass. 100 metres left to run, and Brady goes to the arms. There's no response from Houlton, and Brady from Wimbledon will take this. Eoin Brady, race number 3, will take it in the final metres. Watch the clock. 15:25 unofficially, with Houlton coming over the line a couple seconds back.
His PB previously was 16:11, so that is an absolutely ridiculous run.
Rory Chang there, 15:36. Oliver Smith coming inside 15:40, and Tom Squires around 15:41. Brilliant performances there from our first 5, but what a kick from Eoin Brady there. 100 metres to go, pulled out, and off he went.
Off he went. And so that was meant to be paced at 15:40. We had 3 under 15:41. I think that is a pretty good effort.
Yeah, that's absolutely what we're here to see. We love seeing these race paced, and the athletes beating those marks as the rest of the field round those final turns down to the finish to round off race number 3 at the Comeback 5000. That was a very exciting little race, wasn't it? I like the little kick there at the end.
It's always great. You race for, what, 15, 16 minutes, and it comes down to a complete sprint finish, and that's what we're here for.
Yeah, if there's one thing we like at Comeback, it's sprint finishes. And it's, do you know what? That's what I like to see. I like to see the crowd getting behind all of these finishes. You've all got friends and families in these races. They've all got their own PBs and goals, and I love to see people getting behind them. It's really good to see. So we're going to ask for the first 3 finishes in that race who have already gathered themselves, which is very helpful, to get themselves over to the podium. We would ask Rory Chang there from Marlborough. Oh, they're already on it. They're already heading over.
They're 1 step ahead.
So look at this replay here, Maddie, on our screens. Look at this kick. You can sense there, 120 to go. He's got the smell of blood. I'm having this.
Yeah, you can see checking over your shoulder, never a good sign. That's running in fear, that.
I'm not surprised he was fearful when, no doubt, the look in Brady's eyes there. Look at that, he's almost like a sprinter. Almost like a sprinter going down the final straight there. If there was a segment on Strava for that straight, he's got it.
No, it's a brilliant run from the top three. Every single one of them ran so well.
Absolutely, and we are going to announce those first three finishers in this one now with another bottle of bubbly, courtesy of Comeback 5000. So, in third position, in race number 3 at the Comeback 5000, the under 20 from Marlborough, Rory Chang. In second place, number 78 from Fulham, it was Joseph Houlton. And our race winner of race number 3 from Hercules Wimbledon, it was Eoin Brady. What do you reckon, Maddie? That's Dom Perignon?
Yeah, it's got to be.
Yeah.
It's got to be.
Steve Gardner's. Yeah.
Steve settles for nothing there.
Been down wholesale, isn't he? There you go, get the Dom.
Savage!
Get the Dom P all over him. Lovely, look at that. He's done that before. He's done that before.
It's brilliant.
Great effort from all those lads. And sharing the bubbly as well.
Yeah, beautiful. Couldn't have been able to do that 2 years ago.
Camaraderie, yeah. Couldn't have done that comeback the first year we did it in COVID. We'd have been shut down for that. So you can see the races there on the screen. We've 3 races have gone now. So next up will be race number 4, which kicks off in about 7 minutes time. That'll be race number 4. We are getting towards the pointy end of the evening. I'm already missing it.
Yeah, it's exciting. Look how many people have arrived. And would like to reiterate, if you'd like to come forward to lane 5, grab yourself a drink. To lane 5, beer and cheer. It's what it's all about.
Yeah, echo that, buddy. And there actually is free beer tonight. So if you like free beer, then you're in the right place. Head over to the day's flags and you can grab yourself a free bev. And all we ask is you consider a donation of your choice, which will go to the prize pot for the elite races. So all donations will go to the prize pot for the elite races, as will any donations from the YouTube stream and from the Belgrave Harriers website.
So interesting enough, in the next race we've got a couple from Herne Hill Harriers. So Comeback 5k also doubles up as the Herne Hill Harriers Club champs for 5k. So I think the top end of that is going to be the Herne Hill Harrier Club champ.
I did not know that. That is an interesting fact. So, well, we've almost got a double presentation then. But we've got the athletes for race number 4 on the screen now. I'm going to run through these with you. So this race is being placed at 14 minutes and 40. And we're going to start on the inside. Number 111, 111, Matt McDaniel. Running out of Reading, 136, James Rennie. From Belgrave Harriers, Finn Dyer. Number 180, Ewan Brown. The Herne Hill Harrier maybe taking home the club title tonight. Number 95, Lewis Laley. From Hercules Wimbledon, Ollie Carrington. Belgrave Harriers, number 116, Owen Malloy. From Hercules Wimbledon, 146, Henry Silverstein. Highgate have had a good start tonight. Number 110, Jack Mavan. Number 60, the Ultraman from Belgrave, Ollie Garrett. Number 53, John Fielding. Number 165, Sam Wilkinson. Running out of Bracknell, number 18, Simon Bossy. Running out of Belgrave, the captain, 109, Conor McNally. His stablemate, number 94, Angus Lamb. Number 41, Mike Cummings. 101, George Loxton. Number 71, from Belgrave, Henry Hart. Another that have travelled from south of Southampton, number 20, Dan Bradford. Number 173, Thomas Wright. Another from Southampton, 124, Jacob O'Hara. And rounding off this field, number 187, Quinn Meal Ingram. That's your race number 4.
Anyone here you fancy, Lloyd?
Oh, at least get to know me first. Yeah, I do actually. I mean, there's a lot of lads in this race that I know from the Surrey League. Generally look at the back of their spikes because they're too fast. So it'll be interesting to see how some of them go. I know that Lewis Laley's had a good winter from Herne, comes into this race. He's favourite for the Herne Club champs. He trains down at Tooting, so he'll be one to watch for me. Colin McNally had a very, very good run of late in the Friday night under the lights recently. And he had a very good couple of relays as well, the 12 stage Southerns and the 12 stage Nationals, so I know he's having a good winter. So they're my two to watch.
Yeah, nice. I know one we have to shout out here is Ollie Garrett. I think I can see him there.
He'll be wearing the cap. Yes, that's Ollie Garrett. He'll be wearing the white cap.
So 40-mile world record holder, 2:22 under marathon, and a 15:06 5k PB on Wednesday.
That's just a standard week in Ollie Garrett's running life.
And we know he'll be at Parkrun tomorrow.
100%. And he'd probably do an ultra on Sunday. Why not? Yeah, Ollie Garrett is a fantastic athlete across multiple distances. It was one of the transfer window targets that we took from South London Harriers for Belgrave. Record transfer fee, undisclosed though. So it'll be interesting to see how he goes over the 5,000 tonight, as we are under starters' orders. So away in race number 4 at the comeback, 5,000. Another race with a pacemaker, great to see, and a really good effort from all of the team involved at comeback, and very grateful to all of our pacers tonight. Going to be interesting to see Maddie who leads this one out early doors. I can see up there on the inside from Wimbledon, that's Ollie Carrington. He had a strong winter in the Surrey Leagues.
And also up there is Dan Bradford from Southampton, so he's our self-proclaimed mediocre jogger. But I'm going to say 15-minute 5k, wouldn't call yourself a mediocre hobby jogger if I were you.
No, I wouldn't as well. And if he can hear this, then I hope he takes some seldom in that, because he's definitely not a hobby jogger. He's a fantastic athlete. He also in the field from Hallamshire Harriers, we've got Ewan Brown. He ran a very strong 10k on the roads at Trafford. He ran 30.43, and whilst that is double the distance, he will enjoy stepping down tonight. He's clearly got some strength in those legs, so it'll be interesting to see whether he can go maybe sub 15 in this race.
Look at that, it's clearly gone out quick. The field's strung out completely already. Everybody in lane 1 or sitting on the shoulder of someone in lane 1. So here we go.
Yeah, it was around 70 for that first lap, which is 14.35 pace, which is just a tick inside the pace that we were set. You know, we want 14.40 at the front of this one, so just a couple of seconds ahead. No one in this race is going to scoff at that.
And that's Thomas Wright actually from Bexley. He's right up there at the front. He's actually got one of the fastest PBs with 14.43 coming into this. The Bexley Harrier, I think, used to train with Jacob O'Hara, who's running for Southampton today. So yeah, probably a little battle there. Yeah,
we like for any competition down at comeback, and you can't miss that Bexley vest, that's for certain. We probably won't need the floodlights on for that one. 14.40 is what we want at the front of this race, and they've set their stall nice and early, and we've got a lot of support in the chat here for various different clubs. Finn Johnson for Hercules Wimbledon, great to see him in the chat watching on YouTube, and we've also got a lot of support for Highgate. Highgate got support wherever they go, haven't they?
Yeah, and actually big shout out to Finn Johnson, who did actually run London Marathon last week and ran very, very well.
Yeah, I did give Finn a shout at mile 25. He didn't he may have heard me, but he ignored me if he did. But yeah, great to see him racing on the streets of London.
And then the couple there shouting out for Highgate, so they'll be shouting out for Jack McVan. So there's Jack. He's coached by Vince Wilson. Actually, he's the same coach as Samantha Harrison, who also obviously ran incredibly well at London Marathon.
And won this race last year.
She
slashed that race last year. She did. So maybe that'll rub off on her stablemate tonight in race number 4. At comeback 5,000, it is still the Bexley athlete Thomas Wright up at the front, fastest athlete on the field in qualifying performances. So hopefully he can drag a few of these gentlemen through to a fast time tonight, and maybe some PBs along with it.
And that's Quinn Meal Ingram, who's actually right up there, the under 23. Seems to be in a purple vest. We've got RAD as the club. Can't say I know who that actually is.
Yeah, we'll have to get clarification on that one. Maybe we can ask him after. But yeah, there's a lot of support in the group in the live stream there. We've got a lot of support there for Ollie Carrington from Hercules Wimbledon. He's tucked in really nicely in that front group on the rail, shortest route. And he's got athletes around him, as is our Ultraman Ollie Garrard, wearing the white running cap. Now, if this race comes down to a kick, I'm genuinely intrigued. What sort of kick do ultra runners have?
I don't know, 15:06 PB on the road on Wednesday is pretty quick.
You've got to have some wheels to be able to run 15:06. No, in anyone's money.
And we've just had a shout out on the track from Nicky Faulkner saying go on Tommy Wright, and go on Tommy Wright because he is sitting right on the shoulder of that pacemaker.
We've had a prediction in the live stream there from Dominic White. He said 111, looking brave, looking strong. My money is staying in the big dog. In the big dog, not on the big dog. Interesting terminology of where your money is staying. But yeah, 111 in this race. That's Matt McDaniel from Guildford. He's where your money is in tonight.
Oh, I know Matt. He's tenacious. He's actually in very, very good shape. I know he's here to run sub 15. So let's give Matt a big shout out when he comes past with.
Be interested to see how many of these front guys in this group do dip 15. We are well inside that mark at the moment, but as we know in the 5k, it's quite a cruel distance on the track, and if you're going to drop off that group, you could soon find yourself approaching the low 15s. Isn't that right?
So a good mix. You can see he's still got 2 Belgrave in there.
That's Henry Hart there, just second last in that front group, number 71 there. He had a huge winter for Belgrave Harriers in Surrey League, multiple top 10 finishes, and it's great to see him opening up on the track down at Comeback. And he comes into this race with a 14:59 qualifying performance, but his last race was actually a 58k ultramarathon race where he won in Italy with a broken shoulder. So let's just set the scene. You just come off the Surrey League and you go and do a 58k race in Italy and you break your shoulder. Now you and me would probably say, do you know what, we'll leave this race, we'll just go and get an Aperol Spritz. Not this man, he goes and wins it. What does that say about him?
Not only does he win it, but then he has to pull out of the, I think, National 12 stage because of said broken shoulder. No, I think because actually that's a lie. He pulled out of National 12 stage because he was moving a boat. Don't ask me why he was moving a boat, but rumour has it he has broken said shoulder again while moving this boat. So the fact that he's here is a miracle.
Yeah, I so many things running around my head right now. I don't really know what to say to that. But one thing's for certain is he's a great runner, and there's no boats on the track, so we're clear of shoulder injuries, hopefully.
And he looks great.
He's looking very good in that open and in that front group. But it's still Thomas Wright from Bexley up the front, tucked in behind the pacemaker. Ollie Carrington's tucked in nicely down the rail. Ollie Garrett's in there. We've also got Peter Hart, as we spoke about. We've also got a Guildford athlete on the back of this group. We're going to get a number check on him and check who that is. That might be 111 there. I think that is Matt McDaniel.
That is Matt McDaniel sitting right there on the back of that lead group, and that is the place to be, I think.
It's quite an unassuming position, isn't it? Because no one else in that field kind of knows he's there. He's just hiding at the moment and maybe waiting for the right moment to unleash the kick.
And actually there's a good group there working in that second pack. I think I'm right in saying that's Finley Dyer who's leading that out. He's one that you can see every Tuesday down Battersea. He's always there, so good to see him running there.
Yeah, his PB's 15:50. That was when he was a little bit younger. So hopefully he's going to smash that today with a new personal best mark. And as I say, he's leading that second group out nicely and dragging a few of those guys along with him. That's number 187 there in the purple singlet. That's Quinn McNeil Ingram. He's an under 20. Not a lot of information on him tonight, but his qualifying performance is 15 flat. And he's pulled out into lane 2 to make himself more prevalent at the front of this group, so he's clearly feeling strong. And I can see a Belgrave Harriers flag on the home straight there. Great to see club representing. And things are starting to hot up, not just on the track, but in the crowd as well. I think people are starting to get a bit of a feel for it.
Yeah, and also keep an eye out for any Herne Hill Harriers vests here, because it is the Herne Hill Harriers Club champs tonight. Although, that's Ollie Garrard going to the front, isn't it?
That's Ollie Garrard. He just made a move there. It was like Jake Whiteman. He shot from the middle of the group to the front of the group and said, come on lads, this is his jog. And he's really set his stall here. Carrington's followed the move. And Garrett's move there has really tested a few of these lads, and our early leader Thomas Wright there from Bexley is starting to feel the pinch, and McDaniel is just striving there to make contact. And now it's 1-2 Belgrave. So for the first time this evening, Belgrave up the front in first and second. It's Garrett and Hart. They know each other well from the Surrey League. This is great to see from a club perspective. We've also got Hercules, Wimbledon and Ollie Carrington there in third. You could change the turf to the mud and it would be like a Surrey League. This is great to see. They'll come down this time with 5 laps left to run.
And don't count out Thomas Wright here yet, the Bexley athlete. He's still there, sitting there in fourth. He's been right up there all race.
Yeah, he's still there. You know, when he was getting stretched 200 metres ago, it was almost at the point where is he going to lose touch, but he's stuck at it, and he's just on the coattails of McDaniel there. Just as I say that, there's so many moves being made in this front group, and that is all down to Ollie Garrett pushing the pace. He is relentless at the front.
Still a good few laps to go here, but never count out Ollie Garrett when it comes to a long hard slog to the finish.
I was going to say there is a long run for home. You know, he hit the front with 5.5 laps to go, but that's probably a sprint finish in his book, to be honest. So I think he's probably left it late, in his words. We've got a shout out there for an athlete in this race. That is, we'll have a look on the list here, 1 second. That's Jack McVan. We've got a shout out there who's ticking inside 15-minute pace. So great to see that athletes all throughout this field have got their own goals that they're aiming for. As the athletes round in front of us, in front of the gantry, that's number 136. That's James Rennie. He comes into this race with a 14.52 qualifying performance. His 5k road PB was set last month with 14.55, so he's on for sub 15 as well if he can hold it together.
So neither Ollie or Henry, our top two here, have ever broken 15 on the track. So let's see if they can work together and absolutely smash that tonight.
Yeah, that would be nice for both of those athletes. And do you know what I want to see? I want to see as many of these athletes break sub 15 in this race, because it is an elusive barrier. It's a tough one, no doubt. It's one of those barriers, you need a bit of help. You need a bit of help, and a race like Comeback is certainly the race where you're going to do it, because you've generally normally got athletes around you.
You can see Matt McDaniel's still up there, and he's one I'd love to see break 15. If you look at his Strava, he does all his runs either at silly o'clock in the morning or silly o'clock in the evening, and that is just dedication to the sport. He definitely is one who deserves to break 15 here.
Another athlete we haven't spoken about in this race just so yet is number 53. That's John Fielding. He's from Ealing, Southall and Middlesex. He's gone unassuming in this one, and he's just tucked in on the rail behind Carrington, taking the shortest route. But these front 6, nearly 7 with the Southampton athlete there. That's Jacob O'Hara, well away now from Thomas Wright, and I think that 7 is becoming 6 as these front lads are now single file.
And this is where Ollie Garrett comes into his own. He's so headstrong, he just knows how to race, and that comes from running 3 races a week.
Yeah, he's got the blinkers on, he's got his white cap on, he's got his head down, and he is just hitting the pedal. So it's Garrett, Hart, Carrington. Further back in fourth we have the Ealing athlete, just in front of McDaniel there from Guildford. So that's John Fielding there, just in 4th place, just in front of Matt McDaniel, and the athlete James Rennie there, still on the back. James Rennie's not going anywhere in the purple singlet. Jacob O'Hara battling well from Southampton. Further back in the field from Bexley, our early leader, Thomas Wright, running very well. But it looks to me like this is a 6-horse race, which is very exciting to say, with just 800 metres left to run. Any one of these 6 can win it. Who's your money on?
Do you know what, I almost feel like you can't count out Ollie Garrett, but I think my money might have to be on Henry Hart. He's in good shape.
So just as we say that, gaps are starting to appear. McDaniel is just starting to feel the squeeze there. John Fielding from Ealing has covered it nicely, but it's still Garrett on the front. He hasn't let up yet. I have to say that I raced Ollie Carrington as a junior many moons ago when we were in the 800 metres, and he was a very, very tenacious 800 metre runner. So I feel that if this comes down to the kick, Ollie Carrington will finish strong, and he's well on the way to potentially taking race number 4 at Comeback 5000. with 600 metres left to run. It's Garrett still on the front. Carrington chomping at the bit in second, but look at John Fielding. For the first time tonight, he's pulled out from the rail and made the pass on Hart.
We are getting a lot of love in the chat for Ollie Carrington, who has just hit the front.
Our new time leader, Ollie Carrington, from Hercules Wimbledon, takes the front in this race, but look at the move there from Henry Hart on the outside. Hart's going to go from fourth. Is he going to take the lead as we hit the bell? 1 lap left to run.
You can see these athletes are hurting now. 13.47 with 1 lap today.
13.47, so if they want to run inside 15, they're going to have to clock 72 or faster, and I feel that the calibre of these athletes can do just that. It's Carrington down the back straight, stretches the field from Hart. 300 metres left to run. Fielding making the pass on Hart. Further back in fourth is Garrett, now starting to struggle. James Rennie still there in fifth, but it's Carrington away. 2 strides further back to John Fielding. 200 left in this one. It's still Carrington from Wimbledon, but John Fielding is matching every stride, and do not rule out Henry Hart there from Belgrave. 150 left in this run. It's still Carrington from Fielding as they round the final turn. It's between these two, Ollie Carrington and John Fielding. Fielding pulls out into lane 2 and tries to make the pass. This one's going to come down to the finish line.
Oh, it's going to be really hard stuff, yeah.
Is it Carrington? Oh, straight on the line there. I think Carrington just takes that in 14.53 from Fielding, as Garrett, Rennie, Hart all break 15 minutes. Jacob O'Hara just outside 15. Matt McDaniel also around 15.05.
So close, but the
what a
PB
race. What a race at the front there.
Another one. There's a couple of races here we've had tonight that come down to a sprint finish.
You love to see it. We love sprint finishes that come back. So as the rest of race number 4 round the final turns and finish what was a very exciting race number 4, don't you think?
I think probably the most exciting that we've had yet.
Yeah, absolutely. We've had some, obviously, a lot of support in the chat from a lot of the Wimbledon clan. Carrington, we had a comment there from Finn Johnson. Train smart, race less, win more. Tattoo that on my chest.
It's a hard rule to follow by. I'm not sure Ollie Garrett would agree.
No, but then Ollie Carrington took the win in that one, so clearly is great advice there from Johnson. But we're going to get these first 3 over to the podium now with Carrington, Fielding and Hart, and we're going to celebrate their achievements in race number 4 at the Comeback 5000.
So this has actually come down to a very close finish. We're not actually sure which of the 2 have taken it yet. We're still waiting with timing.
Oh, so first photo finish of the night. I thought Carrington got it on the line, but I've not got the best eyesight, so...
And you're right, Lloyd, Carrington has got it, timing has just come in.
It's just a bit of experience there. So Carrington takes the win. So in race number 4 at the Comeback 5000, in 3rd place, we had from Belgrave Harriers, Henry Hart. I think that the podium can't hear us up on the gantry.
No, I'm with you.
And I can shout, but I'd rather not, because I feel that the listeners watching at home in the pyjamas would probably burst their eardrums. But yeah, you see how close it was on the line there. That's a cat's whisker in that. So in 3rd place, we'll try again from Belgrave Harriers, Henry Hart. Coming up in 2nd from Ealing, John Fielding. And taking the win in race number 4 at Comeback 5000 from Hercules Wimbledon, Ollie Carrington.
And the Dom Perignon comes out again.
Hey, little Dompy. I had to shout there. I'm really sorry to the listeners at home. You probably had to mute your TV sets there.
Ollie Carrington almost too exhausted after that ridiculous sprint finish to open his bottle of fizz.
Yeah, there we go. That's it. Give it the business. We love it. And straight into, this is our last open heat before the elites. So this is going to get fast and furious, the next race.
I'm excited.
And we'll run through those. We'll run through those athletes for you any minute now.
So I'll run through this one here tonight. So this is paced for 14:20. So this is getting pretty spicy. So in this we've got Kojo Karemi from Shaftesbury Barnet, bit of a legend on the running scene. We've got Peter Hart from Southampton, Ed Chuck from Dulwich, Aided Lennon from Southampton, Simon Spiteri. We've got Flurry Grierson. 156 we've got Chris Thomas from Thames Valley Harriers. 99 we've got Daniel Lewis from Highgate. We've got 137 Matthew Revier from Southampton, 69 James Hancock from Croydon. We've got Luca Monali from Gateshead. We've got Will Mycroft, actually Will Mycroft isn't running tonight. We've got Will Beltwood from, actually not sure what that club is. We've got Will Bryan, another one from Southampton. We've got Ewan Spencer from Sheffield. We've got Robert Wilson, another one from Highgate. We've got Jack Miller from Bristol and West. We've got Sam Nee Robinson. We've got number 84, Ricky James from Southampton. We've got 56, Will Fuller from Coventry. We've got 29, Michael Cameron. We've got 176, Callum Charleston. And we've got 74, Charlie Hayward. So this race is being paced, as I said, at 14:20. So it's getting fast. So I'd say there is a contingent in Battersea Park called Cottage. It's not really a club as such, but it's a little informal group that trains every Tuesday, and I would say this is probably the Cottage County Champs, because in here we've got Chris Thomas, we've got Jack Miller, we've got Mikey Cameron, we've got Charlie Hayward, and we were meant to have Sam Gebb and Will Mycroft, but unfortunately both can't on tonight.
Yeah, we've got a lot of great personalities. You know, I'm all about the personalities. Now, the times and the PVs, they're great, but I'm all about the person behind the times. And we've got some great people in this race. I'm going to call some of them out. We've got Rob Wilson, now vet 35. Unfortunately, supports QPR, which it's been a tough year. But he works at SOAR, and they have supported us in the years gone by. So big shout out to Rob. He's a good lad. Hopefully, he has a good run tonight. Who else we got in this one that we like? We know very well. Callum Charleston, he's running for AFD tonight. He's had a fantastic winter so far, and hopefully he can continue that good run of form.
How about, rather than who we like, who do we not like, Lloyd?
See, I'm a little bit too long in the tooth to answer that. I like everyone, Maddie. If you'd have asked me 3 years ago, I'd have been reeling names off, but no, I like everyone, Maddie. But yeah, any second now we're going to go on the starters' orders for race number 5. So we're away in race number 5, first time of asking, and we're looking for around 68, 69s in this one, Maddie. That would bring us home in around 14:20, which would be a PB for a lot of this field. So just before we went on to starters orders, I was talking about an athlete, Callum Charleston from AFD, good friend of mine. I went to university with him, and his dad was a fantastic chaser back in the day, and Callum's had a real return to form this winter, like a very, very big return. Some of his performances at the road relays were superb, especially at the national. So be interesting to see how he can translate that to the track. Hopefully, dip inside that personal best tonight.
So I think that 14:20 mark is an elusive mark for a few in this. I know that Mikey Cameron will be aiming for that, but I think what to say, I'm going to call it early. My money here is on Jack Miller. So he's a bit of a cross-country legend. He came 5th at National last year. He came 5th at Intercounties this year, and he's just back from a tour of America where he was part of like an Oxford-Cambridge group which was racing out there. So it's actually already his 3rd 5k on the track, and I think that is a massive advantage.
Yeah, he had a fantastic, a massive winter, winning multiple Surrey leagues. Obviously performed well at the National Cross. We've also got Charlie Hayward in there from Highgate. He's from the gold medal winning Highgate 12-stage team. Also runs out of the Cottage stable. And I think that when you've got those levers in your back pocket, running for Highgate, being part of that gold team, and also running out of Cottage, you're going to be coming down here into some shape, no doubt.
Yeah, I think we might actually have 3 or 4 of the Highgate winning team in this race. So from a Highgate perspective, we're packing.
Yeah, we are indeed, and we've also got Kojo in there, one of the smartest men in the field, probably in the arena tonight, if I'm not mistaken. He's a fantastic gentleman, our man Kojo, and if you've been on the running circuit for more than 5 minutes, you will know that name. He has done it, been there, got the t-shirt, and he is still doing it. Trains out of field Kissie's group down here at Battersea, and if you come down here on a Tuesday night, you can see Kojo smashing it and still showing it to the whippersnappers. So really interesting to see how he goes in this field. If there's anyone that's got experience, it's him. So just through 800 there, Maddie, and around 220, so 219, 220, so just slightly off the pace, just very, very slightly, but it's nothing that these athletes can't bring back. And that's Charlie Eastlow from Wimbledon as pacemaker. Great to see him helping out these lads tonight. And even just in the pacemakers alone, we've got such great athletes that have come down to help tonight. But when you're talking 14, 20, 40, 30, you need athletes that can go, 3k at that pace, and that's not an easy job.
That's James Hancock there, number 69. So just sitting there in second, looking really good, looking calm, looking ready. He's done a 14:25 in the past, so this pace is pretty much there and thereabouts.
Got a lot of support in the chat there from Nicky Faulkner for the Thames Valley boys, Michael Cameron and Chris Thomas in this one. Be good to see how they go in this field, and we can see them, one of those athletes, Thames Valley Harriers, in about 7th or 8th position there, just tucked in behind the Jack Miller from Bristol. So not a bad place to be at this stage.
Yeah, that's a Cottage. What is that? 4, 5, 6 there with Mikey, followed by Jack, followed by Chris. So yeah, they train and race together consistently throughout the years. So yeah, it's a good little battle there.
So we're ticking off 69s at the moment. We're well on pace. The way I used to look at the 5k is that if you're roughly on your pace, and then you can pull out a fast last 400, you can get a few seconds back at the end. So hopefully some of these boys can do that.
Yeah, and actually looking through the qualifying times of the PBs of the people in this race, they are all within 10-15 seconds of each other, so I'm not surprised that they're all still there at this stage.
So 4 minutes on the clock, 4 minutes down in this one, and single file throughout the entire field, which will show that the pace is hot for these lads in this race. But that's what you want at a time trial. You want to be covering the shortest distance and just following that set of spikes in front, which in this race, that's exactly what they're doing.
So you can see, as I mentioned earlier, there's a couple of Southampton up there, so that is a couple more from this massive Southampton group that's travelled down tonight.
Yeah, they've brought a minibus down, I heard, to South West London tonight, but it's great if they can go home with a few PBs. I know that trip will be worthwhile. And I mentioned Callum Charleston, who's up there early doors. He's actively 4th with Michael Cameron in the Cottage vest, just tucked in 5th. Jack Miller back in 6th, and Chris Thompson there on the rail in 6th or 7th. So some real good calibre athletes up there early doors. looking further back in the field. I can see Kojo there just tucked in behind a sea of 3 Highgate vests.
So
give anyone a headache, wouldn't it, those vests?
Yeah, so in that Highgate vest I can spot at least 2. I mean, there's Charlie Hayward there, and then we've got 181, I think I'm right in saying that's Flurry Grierson. So I think Flurry Grierson is actually Scottish. He is a GB orienteer. He's on the Great Britain Orienteering Development Squad. So he's mixing it up a bit tonight by running 5k on the road.
Yeah, well, he won't get lost, will he? Rob Wilson's obviously in there, Mr. Saw, so he's tucked in nicely with that little contingency just behind Kojo there on the back straight. And this field it's a beautiful sight, single file, spread out. Charlie Eastlow doing a great job on the front as pacemaker. And tucked in there as active leader, that's number 137, that's from Southampton, that's Matthew Revier. He comes into this with a qualifying performance of 14.39, so he's well on target tonight to take a few seconds off that, if he can just stick at this and stay on the pace. And we've mentioned him a lot, he's had a good winter, returned to form from some injuries. Charleston looking very, very confident early doors, the tall figure in the Aldershot vest.
There's a lot of relaxed looking faces in that pack, and it is a pack that is extended, but there doesn't seem to be any breaks in it, so it's still anyone's race.
Interestingly there, James Hancock from Croydon, he was 2nd overall in the Surrey League this last winter, which, if you know the Surrey League, you know the depth there. To come 2nd overall, it means you have to turn up a fair few times, but also perform a fair few times, and he's doing that down here tonight. He's up there in that field as the pacemaker does pulled out, and Hancock's now in 4th, but our new time leader, Michael Cameron from Cottage, hits the front, and Callum Charleston follows suit, and these two just stretching the field a little bit now.
And Micah, I know a bit from Edinburgh because I was at uni there and he used to train up there, so he used to train with his brother Pete, who I'm sure is watching. And I know Mikey's in great shape, better known as a steeplechaser, but he's shown his worth here.
What's the story behind the 3 swords?
I think maybe that's why we get him up and we ask him that after.
Could be. I've got so many things flying around my brain right now. That could be. But hey, we'll find out after the race. But it is Michael Cameron on the front, with Callum Charleston just tucked in 2nd, but one of the athletes who's been very unassuming in this race is Jack Miller.
And you can see he's just pushed up into 4th place, and he's there and he's poised. I reckon no one in this field has run as many 5Ks as Jack has this year already, and competitive 5Ks, so yeah, my money here is on Jack. He's
got experience, hasn't he, at the top end in the national circuit, whether it be on the roads, the cross, and now down at the track at Comeback. But when you look at someone like Jack Miller, who's got such pedigree on the cross country, how does he win a race like this?
I don't know, I think it all comes down to confidence. Like, if you look at his track times compared to his cross country pedigree, you know that his track times needs a revision. So he's there, it's all about the confidence. You know that you're good over the mud, but you can also be good over the road, and you can also be good on the track. And I think he's showed that the last few races, and you know he's in shape.
Another athlete that we've got in that front pack there, I believe that might be a Hallamshire vest. I'd have to check next time they come round. I'm not too sure, actually, I missed it. But Callum Charleston making himself known with Jack Miller just on his shoulder, and it really is stretching this field. Another athlete we haven't mentioned tonight further back in this pack is William Boutwood. If there's one thing you can be rest assured from Boutwood, he will finish like a train. He'll be the fastest finisher in this race wherever he is in the field. Always finishes very strong.
So that's number 124 sitting at the back of that pack, so that's a Southampton vest. And then, yeah, those top 5 have made a move there now. So we've got Mikey Cameron, we've got Jack Miller, we've got a couple of Southamptons in there, and then I think a Hallamshire.
Similar to the last race where Ollie Garrett hit the front and really broke things up, and there is the first move. Jack Miller hits the front for the first time tonight, with still 5.5 laps left to run. In fact, the exact same spot that Ollie Garrett hit the front last time, and was rewarded with a sub 15 clocking in that race. Can Jack Miller follow suit? It's Charleston that follows. So these two are starting to get a little bit of a gap there on Michael Cameron and the rest of the field. Spoke about earlier on about how strong Charleston's winter's been. It's been a great return to form from some injuries, and now he finds himself at the front of race number 5 of the Comeback 5000, with only Jack Miller in his way. 4 laps left to run.
This is a bold move from Jack. He went out hard in his second race out in America. He went out hard and he managed to hold on towards the end. So he's clearly taking that tactic. Let's try and make a gap now. Let's hold off any sprint finishes towards the end.
This is why I love the live stream. That's Eoin Brown from the Hallamshire back in third, and I wouldn't have known that if we didn't have our community telling us. So thank you for that. Back in third in the red singlet of Hallamshire, that's Eoin Brown. But out in front, it's still Jack Miller from Bristol and West. Tucked in second, the beautiful gate there of Callum Charleston in the old shot vest. Two great clubs with huge history who have battled it out in the recent weeks at the Southern Road Relays, the National Road Relays, and now down at Comeback 5000 in race number 5.
So Eoin Brown was actually meant to be in the previous race, and he is showing that the reason he has been bumped up is because he is in very good shape sitting there in third.
Yeah, you're totally right, Maddie. I'm really happy they've made that decision to move him up a race because he's doing so well here in race 5. I think they've done the same with Lewis Laley there. I can just see number 95 tucked in behind Kojo, so clearly moved a few people around tonight. But 3 laps left to run. That's 1,200 metres. And Eoin Brown is starting to bridge the gap there to the front two. And it'd be interesting to see whether these 4 can start to group in the last kilometre, or whether it is Jack Miller and Callum Charleston's to battle out.
So we've just had a message in. We've got Jake the Rake in 4th. So make of that what you will.
Again, some interesting nicknames coming out of this chat. I love it. Jake the Rake in 4th. Brilliant. So 1k left to run. They will come round this time and they'll have a couple of laps left, and as we predicted, these 4 are now away. So it looks to me like it's a 4-horse race. Charleston's mouth open wide, gasping for air.
It's a 4-horse race, but Jack Miller is acting as a bit of a rabbit here. He's just sitting there. They are definitely sitting on his shoulder, but I think he's got the strength to carry this through.
So that's 1, 2, 4. That's Jacob O'Hara, who's actually in the previous race. He's been bumped up to this one and he's making his presence known. So 2 laps left to run. It's Miller, Charleston, move from Eoin Brown, moving over and making the pass on the entire field. Jacob O'Hara there in 4th. New time leader, Eoin Brown, Hallamshire, takes the lead for the first time tonight. That's Callum Charleston who passes Miller. And all of a sudden, completely different order.
Yeah, but look at them, they're all 4, they're all still there. I wouldn't count anybody out at this stage. Approaching 600 metres to go.
600 on the dial, left to run. Eoin Brown there up in front. Callum Charleston, he's been there the entire race, yet to lead. Is he biding his time for the last 400 metres? Jack Miller there in 3rd with Jacob O'Hara from Southampton. Made the trip down to Battersea, or up to Battersea. And he's running very well. As they approach the bell, Eoin Brown takes a look at the watch. Charleston dialed in on the back of his head, and it looks like it's going to come down to these 2. 400 left to run.
And a great second pack there, being led out by Mikey Cameron, who's still on for a really, really good time here. But then look at the kick at the front.
That's a big move. He's gone very early. Eoin Brown hears the bell. And off he goes. He's already got 10 metres on Charleston, and it's stretching to 15. 300 metres down the back straight this final time. The Hallamshire athlete, Eoin Brown, is away and gone. Callum Charleston running well for 2nd. Jacob O'Hara from Southampton has made the pass on Jack Miller. And there's your podium. 200 left to run. It's Eoin Brown's to lose from here. He made the move with a lap to run. And away he has gone. 150 left on the dial. It's Eoin Brown. Is away and clear. Charleston rallying very well for 2nd, driving the arms and into the home straight this final time. Eoin Brown takes another look at the watch. Clearly on for his PB. Charleston running very well, sprinting home, but it will be Eoin Brown for the win in race number 5 at Comeback 5. Watch the clock. Eoin Brown 14.24 for the win. Callum Charleston 14.27. Jacob O'Hara just dips 14.30. Jack Miller, who was leading a few laps back, comes home in 14.34 as the rest of the field sprint over the line there. As I can see, Rob Wilson with a 14.40 and a sea of club vests come over the line.
And that is a massive run from Eoin Brown. He was initially in the race before, PB 15 minutes. That's a 36-second PB, but he has shown that he is in shape. He ran 30:43 on the roads for 10k recently. So come here, run 14:23, back that up, race for his life.
And that is why you come down to the fastest park in the UK, Battersea. That is so good to see those PBs being set. And we're going to ask our first 3 finishers in that last race to head over to the podium to celebrate your achievements with a bottle of bubbly, courtesy of Comeback 5000. And that finishes our open races.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm getting really excited now on these 2 elite races.
Just careful, we're up on a balcony. I don't want you getting too excited and falling. We've done a risk assessment, but we didn't count for that, alright?
Yeah, I'm watching them all warm up. I'm watching them.
Yeah, a lot of support there for Hallamshire in the chat. I mean, do you know, I think his last lap was around 60 seconds. So to run a 60-ish in a 5k is no messing about. And you saw when he hit the bell there, he just took off. He made that move, decisive move from Charleston, and it was game over.
Yeah, it was an incredibly smart race. He knew exactly what he had, and then he sat in, and then he went with 400 metres to go, and he came out on top, and actually won by quite a long way in the end.
So we're going to announce the top 3 in this race. We're just waiting for Callum Charleston to make his way over. Let's hope they hear us this time. If you are watching at home,
getting the thumbs up, I think.
Turn your volume down. So in race number 5, coming home in 3rd place from Southampton, Jacob O'Hara. In 2nd place, a great return to form, Aldershot, Farnham and Districts, Callum Charleston. And taking the win in race number 5 of the Comeback 5000 from Hallamshire Harriers, Eoin Brown. That's great scenes there, great to see. So, as Eoin Brown rightly doesn't share the bubbly, I'm going to ask all of the people inside Millennium Arena to please get off your seats. Come onto the track in lane 5, grab yourself a free beer, because the next race on the track is the Elite Women. We've got some of the best talent that the UK has to offer down here tonight in Battersea, and they need your support. So if you're sitting down, get yourselves up and get on the dance floor.
And what a race have we got coming up. We've got some incredible talent, and I know it's being paced out at 15:35, which is an incredibly fast time.
Well, I wouldn't want to be in that race. Ooh, I'll be hanging on for dear life.
Okay, so I'll run through the lineup now. So we've got number 97, Naomi Lenane for Belgrave. We've got 126, Penny Oliver for Coventry. 91, Beth Kidger. We've got 52, Kate Esley. We've got number 7, Kate Axford, again for Belgrave. We've got 120, Beth Murray for Thames Hare and Hounds. We've got 67, Natalie Griffiths, another one for Southampton. 158, Elle Twentyman for Taunton. We've got Emily Moyes for AFD. We've got Verity Hopkins for Tunbridge. We've got Alice Garner for AFD. We've got Sarah Winston for Southampton. We've got Georgie Grugich for Herne Hill Harriers. We've got Emma Howsham. We've got Holly Dixon for Cambridge. We've got Amy Griffiths for AFD. Rebecca Murray for Bedford and County. Ellie Ravenscroft for the University of Southampton. Lauren Church for Reading. We've got Lucy Reid for Tunbridge. Steph Hewitt for Belgrave. And Lauren Bowen.
Yeah, there's some unbelievable athletes in this women's race, and I said to Steve ahead of tonight, I said that in past years gone by, we've always had a superstar athlete turn up, right? And if I'm completely honest, it sometimes ruins a race because they're off, they're gone. Whereas tonight we've got some amazing athletes, but it's much more packed.
and I think that's going to make a very exciting last kilometre in this.
Yeah, I cannot call it. You've got your Beck Kidgers, you've got Amy Griffiths, you've got Becca Murray, you've got Twentyman, you've got Lucy Reed, you've got Verity Hopkins, and I'm probably missing 5 in that will still be up there.
We're going to make one last request that everyone in the stands comes and supports these athletes, whether you race it, well, you've probably not raced, you're probably done, you're probably half cut by now, but get up off the seats, come and support these athletes. This is our penultimate race of the evening, arguably one of the most exciting. The Elite Women's is up next, and they need your support. I think yeah, it was good shout there, some of the athletes that we've got in this one in terms of favourites. We'll run through some of those once this race gets underway, and I think we are about 30-60 seconds away from starters' orders. So just for a reference, they want 74.75 a lap for 15.35s. 74.8 would bring them home at 15.35, which would actually be PB for pretty much everyone.
Yeah, it's a very, very quick time now.
So a little reminder for anyone in the stadium quickly, if you do want a free beer, go and grab yourselves one, and if you would like to donate, all that money that you donate will go to the prize pot for the next 2 races, as well as all of the donations from the YouTube stream and all of the donations from the Belgrave Harriers website. So, under starters' orders, Elite Women's. So away in the comeback 5,000 Elite Women's race. Big field tonight, as you can see, starting on a stagger with some of the athletes on the outside, but they will make their way onto the inside rail as they come round the first 100 metres. And already a great response from the crowd down here at Battersea for these ladies.
And an absolutely huge shout out to our 2 pacemakers here. We've got Danny Chappington and we've got Becca Johnson, both of who stepped in last minute today at lunchtime. Becca Johnson, having worked 7 days on the trot at Taunton Hospital in paediatrics, came straight here from there. So yeah, absolutely indebted to them.
Yeah, either of those ladies that want any beverage after this, come and see me. You can have my card. Luckily it's a joint account.
Bold shout there.
I hope my missus ain't watching the stream. But straight away, as we can see, early doors, just see over there on the back straight who's our early leader there.
So that is Lucy Reed there. So she is flying at the moment, had an absolutely phenomenal run on Friday, 1 second PB on the roads, but looked incredible at Friday night under the lights. So yeah, she's there, she'll stay.
And a 72.73 first lap, so a little bit inside, second or so, but that's nothing that they won't scoff at. They can settle that down. But a nice strong start there, and nice to see that Lucy Reed has got a little bit of company behind the 2 pacemakers in the form of Kate Axford from Belgrave. She's actually, interesting few facts about her, she's a former international hockey player with a bit, recent runner really, getting into it, and she ran the second fastest shortest leg at the 6-stage women's relay. So some real talent there.
Yeah, it's actually incredible. There's actually 2 people who ran, I think it was second and third fastest at the road relays for both ex-hockey players, so maybe we should all be incorporating hockey into our cross-training mode.
Yeah, I played it in school, Maddie, and I weren't all out, I'm not going to lie.
No, I'm with you.
No, I weren't all out. Anything that included a bat and a ball, I weren't that handy out.
But what's amazing here is, look, those 2 have made a gap on the rest of the field, and that field includes probably the favourite from today, but who knows, Beth Kidger. So Beth is coached by her brother Joel, but we know she's on great form. She ran 32 at 21 10k this year, which was a 29 second PB. So we know she's fit. Maybe she's just sitting, and maybe the 2 have gone off too hard. But yeah, you can see, is it her and Becca Murray just sitting there waiting to pounce maybe?
Yeah, that's right, we've also got Amy Griffiths in there, formerly known as more of a 1500 metre runner. Had some real tough injuries over the past few years, but great to see her back racing, great to see her back on the track, and she's stepping up tonight into the 5,000 metres. But yeah, on Beth Kidger, she's very consistent. She's been consistently solid for the last couple of years, as you said, runs out of her brother Joel's squad. Joel's always been a real supporter for Comeback, you know, even going back to the early days of when Comeback was night of the 1500s. You know, we would have Archie Davis coming down and pacemaking or racing, so it's great to see that those athletes return to Comeback, because clearly there's something about this meet that they love to return to.
Yeah, and you can look at Lucy Reed just sticking right there on Becca Johnson's shoulder. So she knows what she wants, and I think that's a fast time and the win.
Yeah, I think she ain't got much of a poker face. That's her tactic tonight. Get on the pacer, set out at 73s, 74s, and see how long I can hold on. And if anyone's going to come with me and beat me, they're going to have to run 72. So I like that tactic. Sometimes it works, sometimes it's brave. So it'll be interesting to see as they go through 3 laps there in 3:48 or so. So great pace in there from this race, and it's still Lucy Reed from Tonbridge out in front.
And that is one thing to say about Lucy Reed, is she does know this is the fastest park in Battersea. She lives and breathes Battersea Park. She is here every Tuesday, most Saturdays, some Thursdays, probably easy runs here in between. So she has been on this track probably more than anyone else in this field.
Absolutely. Further back in the field, that's 118 Emily Moyes, more of a steeplechase specialist, but stepping it up to the 5k tonight. We've also got Steph Hewitt in there, number 75 from Belgrave, big hometown favourite. So hopefully she comes home with a nice strong PB to open up her summer season. And doesn't it sound weird to sound summer season? This is what we love about Comeback. It's the comeback of the summer. This is the first race, well, in my opinion, first notable race on the calendar for the summer season. It feels strange.
I know it is, and we are approaching 8:30, and it is still light. I say it was still light, so we'll take that. Just one here that I have to mention is Bethany Murray, who's there. She's probably only for around 70 minutes tonight. She is a cottage contingent and also an athlete that I coach, so I've got eyes on her tonight.
So yeah, a little name drop there. We've got one of your athletes in the race, so no pressure on her, but fingers crossed she comes home and coach is happy.
And so that's it, pacemakers are out and Lucy Reed is flying. They are slowly calling her in, but Lucy Reed looks good. Lucy's coached by Richard Owen, who also coaches Verity, who is sitting off the back of that, the Tonbridge athlete, number 77.
Yeah, it's really good when you see stable mates running in the same races, and you know, I don't know whether they've spoken tactics for ahead of the race or whether they've just said, look, run your own race and we'll see how we end up. But that's exactly what Lucy Reed's doing tonight. Places have gone now. She's lonely run ahead, and all she sees is clear tartan track in front of her, and hopefully a PB waiting for her at the finish. But I think a few of this group, the 4 ladies behind her that are starting to bridge that gap, are going to have something to say about it. And we spoke about it earlier, that favourite, Beth Kidger, she's in there, she's looking strong.
Yeah, it's a very strong top 4. We've got Lucy Reed, we've got Kate Axford, we've got Georgie Grachek, and we've got Beth Kidger right up there.
Yeah, Georgie had a really strong winter in some of the Surrey Leagues, in some of the national cross-country races as well. It's been a real coming of age this winter for her, and it'll be interesting to see how that translates to the track tonight. But Lucy Reed's not letting up. If anything, I thought that gap was slightly closing, but if anything, it's just she's just turning the screw. But still a lot of running left in this race to be had, and still a lot of time to be had as well.
And Georgie's a fun one because she's actually only ever run 5k on the track. She ran 15:51 at Milton Keynes last year, and she won that race. So there is something to say about being unbeaten on 5k on the track.
And 158 there in the Illuminous, I'm going to call it yellow, just on the back of the front group there that Beth Kidger is in company of. That is, we've got her here, that's Elle Twentyman. She's running out of Taunton. She's got a qualifying performance of 15:58, but it says here on her notes there, she only started taking running seriously about 2 years ago in 2021. She ran a 3k PB last week at 9:28. And she's been training with Callie Thackeray, so that is some serious company that she's got down at her training stable. And if there's anything that Callie's got, you know, in terms of Callie's credentials, hopefully that can mean that Twentyman can run a PB tonight, and she's looking decent on that back straight.
Yeah, I've seen that she's been running with Callie, but also a bit with Sam Harrison, so that is a 2 good names to be training with. She was also out in Guernsey over Easter at the Guernsey Easter Festival, which she did actually win. But then look at Lucy Reed go here.
Tell you what, Maddie, we have got a real race in our hands, because if you just discard Lucy Reed a second and look further back in the field, We've got those three athletes there with Gregic and Kidger and Axford from Belgrave, and obviously Twentyman is in a bit of no man's land at the moment. But then further back we've got Rebecca Murray from Bedford and County. Had a huge winter on the cross country this year and on the roads. She's had a real return to form, and also Amy Griffiths there. If it comes down to a kick, if it comes down to half a lap or a lap to run, you've got to bank your chips on Griffiths with that 1500 metre speed. If I'm not mistaken, and I'll have to check, I'm pretty sure she's run inside 4:10 in her career, so that is some serious closing speed in those legs.
Yeah, you're right. She's a 2:04.409 runner at her best, and do you know what? It's just so nice to see her back running. As you said, she had a difficult couple of years, but she's back and she's looking great. And yeah, it's actually, she's coached by Craig, isn't she? Oh no, she's Luke Gunn now, I think. But she, yeah, this is only her second ever 5K on the track.
Love to hear that. Lucy Reed rounds the lap there. She's still out in front. Axford starting to make a bit of a charge there in front of Kidger from Belgrave, with Gregic still there. These four, it's almost like you want them to work together, but then they've got to run their own race. We just want to see the best race possible, don't we?
Yeah, and this is very bold from Lucy Reed. She knows she's strong, so she is counting on the fact that she can hold that gap.
Do you know what? I've got a real sense that Kate Axford is a real athlete you've got to watch for the future. She's very new to this game in terms of, well, especially with Dinosaur Derby, but she's only been around for what seems 5 minutes, and to be able to come down to comeback in the elite race and be holding second comfortably is serious talking points.
Yeah, it's an incredible story.
So still Lucy Reed, Axford really making the charge. She's set her stall Axford in second. She's basically said, look, I'm not going to settle for third, I'm not going to settle for fourth, I'm going to try and win the race. And you know, at the end of the day, if you swing for it and you don't quite make it, at least you gave it a go. So it'd be interesting to see how that pans out as we look on the back straight. It's still Reed from Axford, Gregic in third with Beth Kidger, our early time favourite in fourth. Really being tested tonight. She is the fastest in the field, but tonight she's being tested, and they're taking the run and taking the race to her.
And you can still see Lucy Reed's contingent, Verity Hopkins there in the Tonbridge vest. She is another one who's recently taken up running, one of those who started during 2020, 2021 and then can suddenly run very low 16 for 5k. I'm not jealous at all.
So in this chase group, that's the Cambridge Harrier, that's number 43 on the back there. Also had a really good winter on the cross. That's Holly Dixon, really sort of made a real coming of age as she stepped up to the senior ranks. As I said, runs out of Cambridge Harriers, and she's a name that's always up there now. And I feel that, you know, if she can work with that group, with the athletes like with the likes of Griffiths, she could be on for a PB tonight. Just further on Holly Dixon, we just got word that she's come back from a training camp in Spain, and she ran 16:16 at Friday night under the lights last week. So that's some serious running power, and if you can translate to a little bit quicker on the track, she could be on for something fast tonight.
She also came third recently at the podium event on the go-kart track, which I know that you were commentating at, Luke.
Yeah, sorry for everyone that had to listen to that one as well, but that was a carnage, that event. That was obviously like nothing we've seen before, but unless you were there, I don't think you got a real grasp of how mental it was.
I came to watch, it was absolutely brilliant.
I quite liked being a spectator, not a competitor.
No, I can't imagine people's hamstrings felt very happy the next day.
But we could talk about that all night, but we're here for the track action, and now we have a race in our hands. Lucy Reed, we also have Kate Axford, and now Georgie Gregic are the three out in front, and I feel that the winner is going to come from this trio.
And it has been a valiant effort from Lucy Reed here, but you can't help but feel like they're gunning her down.
I feel like Lucy's gait has just started to tire slightly. It looks like she's slowing up a little bit. And what does Kate Axford do now? You know, she's new to the sport. Does she take the lead? Says, look, I've caught you, I'm going straight past, or do you make the decision to sit and back your kick, but then give athletes behind you the opportunity to maybe catch you up?
I think it's all about stating your case here. You go past, but as I say that, she doesn't. She sits, and maybe she can trust her kick here. Maybe this is exactly where she wants to be coming into the final stages.
Absolutely, a little bit tentative there, which has given Gregic the chance to close up, and you can now throw a blanket on these three as we now have a new time leader. That is Kate Axford from Belgrave Harriers. It's been a very strong night for the Belgrave club tonight, with 12 minutes 45 on the clock. Gregic makes the pass on Reid, and we've now got two South London athletes, South West London athletes, two Surrey League athletes hit the front in 1 and 2. It's Axford from Gregic with Lucy Reid in third, and these three are well away as we come down to the lap this time. And we will have just, I think that says 3 laps left on the clock. It's hard to see now in the light.
Yeah, that is 800 metres to go, and Kay Axford is looking very, very strong. This is a masterclass here.
So 13:20 on the clock, Axford goes through. Gregic follows suit about 10 yards back. And it's a long run for home from Axford there, the Belgrave Harrier. But look at the gate from Gregic, she's not letting this up. This is a race, we've got a race on our hands, that's for certain. So down the back straight for the penultimate time. It's still Axford from Gregic, from Lucy Reid. Beth Kidger back in fourth, a little bit isolated. Amy Griffiths in fifth is rallying quite well and starting to break away from Rebecca Murray and the rest of that chase group, which does include Holly Dixon from Cambridge Harriers. But back to the front of this race, we still have a 10-yard gap between Axford and Gregic. 25 yards further back is Lucy Reid, our long-time leader. They will hear the bell this time as Axford hits the home straight for the penultimate time, followed by Gregic. Axford, one of the athletes who's just found her love for running, has really made a statement on the national circuit. Now comes down to come back to try and take the title on her home track. She'll hear the bell this time.
Looking a bit further back, you can see Beth Kidger is gunning down Lucy Reid, so it's going to be a battle for who takes that third place here.
I feel like first and second is wrapped up, and Axford turns the screw on Gregic and goes away. That gap, if anything, is starting to open up with 300 metres left to run. The Belgrave Harrier, Kay Axford, down this straight one more time. She will have 200 left to run, and that's when she'll hear the crowd. She'll hear the roar of Comeback 5000, a unique atmosphere that you can only get down in the fastest park of Battersea. Axford, 200 metres left to run, but Gregic is not done. She rallies again, and you can see that the stride opens up and the cadence increases. We've now got a race on our hands with 150 left to run. It's Kay Axford from Belgrave. Gregic is rallying very well for second. There's only 10 yards in it with 120 metres left to run. Axford takes a look inside her. With 100 left, she drives the arms and lifts the knees. It's Axford for Belgrave, but Gregic is coming. 50 metres left to run. I think that Kay Axford's going to hold on. Kay Axford for the win there for Belgrave Harriers. Watch the clock. 15:48 unofficially. She spreads her arms up in the air to celebrate. Georgie Gregic with a 15:52 for second. And look at that finish there. I told you about the closing speed of Amy Griffiths. She runs a sub-16 for 15:59 with Beth Kidger and Holly Dixon coming over the line, and our long-time leader Lucy Reid rewarded with a sub-16:10. What a race that was.
What a race. And kudos to Lucy Reid for taking that on. That was a bold step, and I think it would have been a completely different race if she had decided to sit in a bit there. But yeah, Belgrave 1-2. Lloyd, how does it feel?
I'd like to just take this opportunity to apologise to absolutely nobody. Well, you know, I don't know whether that was any good. The chat can let me know, but yeah, I mean, it's great to see, like a lot of London clubs, you'll be part of one yourself, like you said, Thames and Guildford once upon a time. Good group of people, they train hard 2 or 3 times a week, good eggs, come together and the results follow. And we're very lucky at Belgrave that we've got these facilities and good coaches and a good history behind us. So it's great to see that that's coming out in the results tonight.
Yeah, and look at them, they're all coming through second pass. That is a lot of women sub-17 there. I've just seen Emily Moyes, she had an absolutely flying finish there. So she's just come in sub-17. And then, yeah, we've got a few Southamptons coming down the home straight.
Yeah, there's Steph Hewitt, 150 left to run. She's ran in the final turn. She's going to be coming home. She might just nip inside. 17:45 if she gets a shift on.
Yeah, and I think for a lot of athletes, this is their first track race of the season, so this is the benchmark, and then we'll start building from here.
Got a lot of support in the chat for this race, so we didn't actually get a chance to call a lot of the comments out because it's just too exciting, to be completely honest. But it's really good to see the chat supporting all of your friends and family in this race. Ooh.
We're going to catch up with the first three in that race who are heading over to the podium any second now. And it's great to see that everyone inside the stadium is on the track supporting all of the final finishes in this women's elite race. And it's great to see that most of the track are up on their feet in lane 5, beer and cheer in full force.
Yeah, one more race, and what a race we have in store.
I don't know if I can handle another one.
I don't think I can, that was so good.
My heart rate's at threshold right now.
So we've just seen a sub 16, do you reckon we might see a sub 14 here, Lloyd?
Yes.
Let's watch out.
Comeback's known for sub 14s. No pressure, lads. As the rest of this field come over the finish to finalise the women's elite race, we've got a football on the home straight. Can't take this though anywhere.
That is not what comeback's about.
See, I'd have really rated it. The Southampton happy they just booted it. Or spiked it.
Probably not what you need in the closing 100 metres of a race is beating a football.
No, you are totally right. So we're going to get the start list up on the screen for this men's elite race, which is going to be kicking off in around about 5 or 6 minutes time, and we'll run you through all the athletes in this one. Hotly anticipated last race of the evening, so we're going to try and cause as much noise as possible, but before we do that we're going to run through the first three finishes in that women's elite race. So coming home for third place we had Amy Griffiths. In second we had Georgie Gregich. And taking the win in the comeback 5,000 elite women's race from Belgrave Harriers, Kate Axford. Big cheer there for Kate, big cheers.
Yeah, you can see the crowd is there now. It's 4 or 5 deep along that home straight, which is exactly what we want to see.
Yeah, much alcohol has been consumed down that home straight. It's going to cause a lot of noise for this next race, I feel. Getting some random people wave at me on the track. Oh, that's Mo Hashi down there. We'll call him out, we'll embarrass him. He did the London Marathon the other day, he ran 2 hours and 24, so big round of applause for Mo Hashi.
Well done, Mo.
He did really well. He didn't look that good at mile 25, that, mind you, but he did really well. And he's back to work in the week.
You're a cruel person standing at mile 25, Lloyd.
Yeah, well, it's where the most fun is. So, do you want to run us through this for this race, Maddie, our last race of the evening?
Yeah, we'll go for it. So we have our elite men's race. So we've got from Herc Wimbledon, we've got Andrew Penny. We've got 177, Andrew Milligan. 106, Ryan Martin from Central. Number 50, we've got Kane Elliott all the way from Falkirk. 104, we've got Zach Mohammed from Southampton. Number 40, we've got Johnny Cornish from Herc Wimbledon. 135, Kieran Riley from Tonbridge. We've got number 48, Luke Duffy. Number 86, Callum Jones. Number 152, again all the way from Falkirk, we've got Scott Sterling. We've got 154, Kurt Taylor. Number 87, Dafford Jones. Number 76, Sam Hodgkinson. Number 73 from Aldershot, we've got Ricky Harvey. Number 23, we've got Charlie Brisley. 164, we've got George Wheeler. 175, we've got Dylan Evans. 102, Ben McMillan, again from Central. 143, we've got John Sanderson from Guildford. Number 16, we've got Luke Birdseye from Windsor, Slough, Eton and Hounslow. We've got Will Battershill. We've got Cameron Bell. 119, we've got Dan Mulryan from Thames Hare and Hounds. Number 12, Oscar Bell. Number 174, Oliver Barbaressi. And number 188 from Tonbridge, we've got Alex Howard. Yes, and so here we have Kate Axford, the women's winner from the elite race. So we're just going to bring her in. And so we've got Kate Axford here, women's winner of the elite race. So how did that go, Kate?
Yeah, it went well, obviously. I mean, I think that it's the first 5,000 that I've done since joining Belgrave, and has been a bit of time away from the track. But I think that, the naivety of doing your first one probably helped me quite a bit, because I wasn't really aware of the pain I was going to go into. But yeah, it was just amazing, fantastic field of some amazing runners, so it was just a privilege to be out there with them.
Yeah, you say naivety, but you ran very head smart there. You sat back, you knew what you could do, and you waited for that final kick, and you absolutely nailed it. So what was the aim tonight? Was the aim sub 16? Sub 17?
I think, the aim was sub 16, I think. I kind of had done around 16:30 on the road, so the track was just an opportunity to run a bit faster and kind of see what I could do.
And you absolutely smashed it. And so, hockey player, going back to hockey, or have we finally got you as a runner now?
I think hockey have potentially given up on trying to bring me back, but yeah, I think it's just kind of something I really enjoy, and I'll hopefully be sticking around a bit longer.
And what's next? What's the big race next?
I actually have no idea. I'm going to consult my coach Charlie, and we're going to see what's kind of coming next. But yeah, exciting, to be part of it all.
Okay, well, perfect. I can hear the men's lining up, and so congratulations, and go and enjoy the win.
Thank you very much.
And we are away in the men's elite race at the comeback 5,000. This is our hotly anticipated race. I've certainly been waiting all evening for it, and fingers crossed that we can be rewarded with some super fast times that we are used to down at Battersea, the fastest park in the UK. And tonight we've got a pacemaker in the form of George Wheeler, who's hit the front straight away and goes through the first 200 metres there in a very swift 32 seconds.
Yeah, it's a very quick race indeed, but we know we've got athletes here that are going to be targeting that sub 14, so it's going to have to be swift, isn't it, Lloyd? And we've got, who is that right up the front? It's already strung out massively, so this is fast. This is very, very fast. So as you said, we've got a wheeler up the front and we've got a reeler in the race.
Absolutely, already up the front we've got the central AC athlete. We'll get a number on that when they come through, but the central athletes, they're easy to spot as they come through 400 there in 66 seconds, so very honest pace early doors. We'll get a name on that central athlete as they come through. We'll just check their race number.
And that is Zach Mohammed just coming past that central athlete, stating his claim early on, he wants to run fast.
Yeah, absolutely. Zach Mohammed, he was second here last year. And obviously, comes from a great family of athletes with his older brother Mohammed from Southampton. Fantastic athletes, but Zach himself has had a fantastic winter, set massive personal bests on the road. He actually ran a 10k, I've got the time written down here, I made a note of it earlier. He ran a 10k earlier in the season in Valencia of 28:24, and just recently in Bristol on the 5k on the road he ran a sub 14 of 13:57. So he comes here in sub 14 shape, he's got the strength of the cross country and on the roads over the 10k and the half. It's just going to be interesting to see how far he can go inside that 14, and already early doors we've got a breakaway group.
You can see that second group starting to pack, but maybe that's a good thing, sitting early like we saw in the women's race. You might be able to reel them back later on.
2:12 through 800, so 66 is on the dot. George Wheeler doing a fantastic job. I believe that he's been instructed to knock out 66s, and he's doing just that. The hooker athlete there in third, that's Will Battershill, trains out the Luke Gunn stable. He's running well so far, looking strong in the early stages. So we're just trying to get a number on that central athlete in second there. I think that might be 106, which could be Ryan Martin. We just need to confirm as they come around the next time. It's so hard when these lads are running so fast. But already already we've got a gap at the front of the race. Zach Mohammed is right on the coattails there of George Wheeler, and we already have daylight between first and second. Okay, just getting confirmation there that we believe that Ben McMillan.
So he is, I think, the fastest athlete in the field tonight, so it's unsurprising that he's up there chasing down Zach Mohammed.
Yeah, he ran 13:48 in Armagh in the Irish road race, and he also ran a very, very strong leg with Central at the relays recently in the national road relay. So yeah, it's clearly in great shape, but this is a mustard field tonight. We've got some very, very good athletes, and I think that a sub-14 is probably an afterthought for these athletes. They're probably going to be looking more into the 13:40s and 13:50s really.
Yeah, definitely the pace that they've gone off. So you can see in that closing pack we've got a couple of Falkirk athletes at the front working together. So that is, we've got Scott Sterling there, who I know from uni a bit, but also we've got Kane Elliott, who's actually leading that out and actually driving to close up on that top three. So a lot of hope being put in these two Falkirk athletes here to close in.
Also got your better half, John Sanderson, at the front of that chasing group. What sort of shape's John in?
So he's in very, very good shape. Very good shape. He's quietly confident, I think, to maybe try and dip under that 14-minute mark. But who knows? First race of the season, put a benchmark down, and yeah, continue forward.
Guys, you know what? I shared a room with John in Armagh once. It weren't a couple's getaway, I promise. We went and did the Armagh road race years and years ago, and I was coupled up with someone I didn't know. They were like, "Oh, you were this guy John," and that was when me and John met. And great guy. Well, you clearly like him. But hopefully he can be rewarded tonight with that sub-14.
But look, Zach Mohammed here has clearly got something to show. He is sitting right on that pace, so he is really gunning for it here.
Yeah, that is Ben McMillan there in second, that 13:48 man with Will Battershield just on his shoulder. Just feel the wind pick up there, Maddie, that we just got a gust of wind in the face, and I feel that the runners might be feeling that down on the track. Hopefully it's not too strong.
Yeah, so that makes all the difference here, because Zach's currently sitting right on the shoulder of that pace there. But as soon as that pace drops out, he is right there in the wind, and it has suddenly really picked up.
Yeah, big gusts of wind up here on the gantry. I'm just having a look at the runners running through here in the Adidas singlet there. That's Luke Duffy, 3:40, 1500 metre runner, 4-minute miler, stepping up tonight to the 5k. So he'll be hoping that his speed can carry him through to those later laps. Also in that field, we've also got Oscar Bell, runs out the Andy Hobdale stable. He's had a great winter in some of the cross-country relays. And it'll be interesting to see how he can do well over 12.5 laps tonight. But back to the front of this race, George Wheeler, the pacemaker, doing a fantastic job. Runs out of the Milton Keynes club stable, and Zach Mohammed is right on his coattails. He's not gone anywhere tonight. He's been right on his heels the entire race, and they are just knocking off 66s lap after lap. And Ben McMillan and Will Battershield in second and third. Hopefully they can work together a little bit into the middle stages of this race. And
it is Kane Elliott really trying to bring that massive group forward now, and if they can start closing on 2 and 3, then we really do have a race here on our hands. But he's closely followed in by Scott Sterling, John Sanderson, and then a huge pack of incredible athletes there.
I think for anyone watching, it's worth noting that chase pack, you've got to be looking at those guys dipping 14 minutes. So these guys that are way out in front are beyond that. So this chase pack aren't just sitting back and dawdling, they are still on race pace. It's just that these lads out in front are somewhat different gravy. And Zach Mohammed is flying through 6.5 minutes there. He has now probably got 30 metres on Ben McMillan, who is turning the screw slightly on Battershield, and I fear that maybe in no man's land soon. But then that might bring the chase pack back to him.
Yeah, it's hard to forget, but we are only 6.5 minutes into this race, or coming up to 7 minutes, so there is still a long way to go, and that chasing pack can still close down that top 3.
Yeah, you're totally right. It's almost like it's the last couple of laps where they're gearing up for the finish. The speed of these boys is just paramount. It's unbelievable. We've also got a lad in there just towards the rear of the field in the red shorts and the Wimbledon vest. One of the lads from Surrey League, that's Johnny Cornish. He'll finish strong, no doubt. He probably just arrived, actually. He's always late to his races. He literally probably just got off the train and sprinted in. But he's a great lad, Johnny, and hopefully he's rewarded with a PE tonight.
And he's getting a lot of love on the comments today. You can see Finn Johnson chirping up again.
Yeah, there's a comment in that in the stream there about Zach. They've called him different level tonight, and I think that's paramount, isn't it? It's clear tonight. He's just. I'm almost a little bit disappointed that the leader's so far ahead, but good for Zach. You know, he's clearly in shape. He's got a plan, and he's going to run fast, and hopefully we can get a real fast time down here tonight. There's still some races going on back in the field, obviously. I think there's a lot more to be told in these second and third places. I think this group will start to make a charge, and that's where we're going to see the mad last laps.
Yeah, this is where it starts to get really hard for 2 and 3, because you are literally watching Zach run away from you here.
We've got Kieran Riley in that second group there, runs out of Tonbridge and also Central. He's a low 4-minute miler and a 3:42 1500 metre runner, so he's got pace in those wheels. He's run indoor. He's run 3k indoor this winter of 8:18. So he'll be looking to step up to the 5k tonight and set his stall for his season. But he will finish strong, no doubt, and he's in that chase pack. Andrew Penny from Wimbledon. He's had a great winter too on the country. Really made a name for himself over the 1500 metres in seasons of late. But this is 12.5 laps. This is a different animal completely.
And this is a masterclass. This is a watch what I can do. This is I'm following that pacemaker. You won't be able to stick with me, and it is quite something.
So Zach Mohammed goes through 3,200 there in about 8:50. So that's 3.2k in 8 minutes 50. We missed the 3k split. He's too fast, but he is now away and clear. I've got to say he's probably got about 50 to 60 metres on Macmillan from Central in second, and Battersea has been third pretty much the entirety of the race. But I feel that group headed up by Kane Elliott, the 3:39 1500 metre specialist, is starting to close in on Battersea, and that's where I feel that the exciting race is starting to unfold.
And you got Penny in that group as well, and Penny I know is very quick over the 8s and the 15s, so if he's still in that group with 800 to go, you can't count out Andrew Penny.
Oh, you definitely can't. That closing speed of the 1500 metre middle distance specialist, if they put the yards in the winter and they've got the mileage in the legs and they've got the endurance, you can have a very dangerous 5,000 metre runner on your hands. So Andrew Penny will be hoping to utilise that speed tonight. But Zach Mohammed knocks off another lap there. In fact, that was like a 63.
He is absolutely flying here tonight. He is gliding around the track. For those
We're
at
on for
home,
something special here.
you can't even describe the way he is literally just flying around this track tonight.
Great to see. And you know what, Zach Mohammed, growing up, I've always known him as just this young lad who's really fast at running, but you're looking at him on the track now, and he is not a young lad anymore. He is a fully grown man stepping up to the 5k and making it his own. He is owning this race. He's owning Battersea tonight, and he goes through the mark there in 10:27. So we are off so quick.
Look at this train led by Kane Elliott reeling in third place, and watch them try and reel in second here now.
Yeah, they're going to have to rally hard. They're going to have to get to Battersea and just make the pass. If they're going to get after Macmillan, someone of his quality, you know, he's got 13:48 in his legs. I mean, that's a big gap. That's hard to close down a runner that fast, but I feel that Battersea is on borrowed time here. I hope that he can just feel the sense of the group and maybe just tuck in second or third and take a sit, because he's not had much help in this race since he got detached from second place.
Yeah, Battersea probably better known as the steeplechaser, an 8:27 3k steeplechaser. So we know he's got strength, but we also know he's got speed. So don't count him out yet.
So Zach Mohammed into the home straight this time. I didn't catch the lap split there, but it was at least a 63. So that was also a fast split as well. He will have 2 laps left to run here. So if we have a look on the clock, he's coming down here with 800 metres left to run. You've got to think that an athlete of his calibre is going to go at least 2:05 for the last 800. And he's on the clock 11:35. We could be on for a sub 13:40 here. Whoa, okay. This is going to be exciting. Zach Mohammed is on for sub 13:40 here. If he can close well, he's on for a massive performance, considering that last year he ran 14:01 for second behind Ben Gilmore.
And he is not showing any signs of slowing up here. If anything, he is leaning forward, he is striding out, he is almost trying to start that long run in for home, and he is flying.
And I'm starting to get a little bit shaky. He's getting to the exciting point of the race. 600 metres left to run. 12:10 on the clock. Now Battersea, this is where we've got to get behind these athletes. It's the last race of Comeback 5000 2023. Zach Mohammed looks inside him. Don't have a look, mate. You are gone. You've got this race wrapped up. He hits the home straight for the penultimate time, and this time he will hear the bell. Let's have a look at the clock as he comes through with 400 left to run. He's going to have to rally hard. He goes through in 12:42, so he's going to have to run inside 58 seconds for the last 400 to break 13:40. An athlete of that calibre is well within his rights to do that.
And Ben McMillan is looking good for second, but third, couldn't pick one out of that pack.
Battersea has been swollen up in that group and he's somewhere amongst it, but back to the front of this race, 250 metres to go. Zach Mohammed, the younger brother from the Mohammed family of Southampton, hits 200 left to run, 13.16 on the clock, it's still well on if he can rally hard. 150 left to run. Zach Mohammed into a class of his own down at the Millennium Arena in Battersea. The fastest track and the fastest park in the UK. And Zach Mohammed confirms it. With 100 left to run, he's going to take the title. He's going to take comeback. And he's going to start the 2023 track season in the best way possible. Zachary Mohammed for the win. Watch the clock. 13.46 unofficially. What a run there from Mohammed. Ben McMillan is going to take second in this race.
And that is Andrew Milligan striding down that home straight. Is he going to take third?
McMillan just dips 14 minutes there with 13.59, and unfortunately the rest of the field are going to dip outside 14. But still some stellar performances here.
What a run from Zach.
You know what, just before we get on to Zach, Oscar Bell, the Hobdell athlete there, he ran a PB there, 14.09 he just ran. I believe that's probably about 5 or 6 seconds off his best, so big up you, Oscar Bell, for running that. Also, nice return to racing form there, 14.23 from Dylan Evans. He's been injured most of the winter with a foot problem, so it's great to see him back in the pointy end of races. But Zach Mohammed, what do you got to say about that?
It's a class apart, and I think he knew that. I think he set out today to show, look what I can do, none of you can touch me, and it's exactly what he did.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he had to run sub 13.40 there, he had to run a 58 and maybe inside. That's very fast for a 5k, so tough to ask him to do that, but comes home in around 13.45, 13.46. I mean, you can't scoff at that.
Yeah, big things coming for Zach this season, no doubt.
Yeah, I think we are seeing a turn of the tide in the Mohammed family, and I think we'll now see Mohammed maybe step up onto the roads and Zach take the gauntlet for the track. Definitely from that performance, but we'll hear from Zach in a little while. Hopefully we'll get him up for a short interview, but before then we've obviously got to reward our top 3 finishers from that men's elite race. So if you are still in the stadium, please do hang around just for the presentation. And remember, all beers are free, and if you would like to donate, all of that money goes to the prize pot for the elite men's and elite women's races. And if you're watching on the stream, firstly, thank you so much for tuning in, giving us your Friday evening. And if you'd like to donate to that prize pot, you can find the link in the description, or you can head over to Belgrave Harriers website.
You can see still loads of the athletes just strewn across that track, and that is what a 14-minute 5k will do to you.
I wouldn't know.
Neither would I, to be fair. So you can see the top 3 are approaching that podium.
Yeah, we're gonna. Do you know what? I need confirmation on those top 3. Hopefully that's coming through to the our little group chat now.
So we've got Zach, we've got Ben McMillan, and we have Andrew Milligan from North Belfast Harriers.
So for the final time this evening in the Comeback 5000 men's elite race, in 3rd place we have Andrew Milligan. From Central AC, in 2nd place we have Ben McMillan. And taking the Comeback 5000 title in the men's elite race from Southampton, Zach Mohammed. So we'll hopefully get Zach up for an interview once he's done with selfies and signing autographs and that. But before we do that, it's been a pleasure having you on comms. It's your first time on commentary. How have you found it?
Yeah, do you know what? It's been an experience. It's a joy. I mean, Comeback is such a good event. So to be asked, I'm thrilled. and yeah, I hope we've done well.
Yeah, I hope we've done sport justice. I would certainly have you back, Maddie. You've been off fresh air, and I think that when I watch the stream back, it would be really, really nice to watch it. One thing I want to ask you though, it's a hard question. Performance of the night for you?
You know what? You can't not say Zach. It was so dominant and it was so good. I think I'm going to have to say Zach.
Okay, and who was your performance from the women's elite race?
Do you know what? I'm going to say Lucy Reed, just for the guts of it. Like, to go out to say, you know what, I'm going to try and run fast here, and to try and do that. If you don't hold on, first track race of the season, one day she'll hold on. And yeah, for me, it's the guts of it.
Yeah, guts and glory. We like that down at Comeback, and we are going to get Zach Mohammed up for an interview. I think he's doing a little interview there for Athletics Weekly, just on the infield there. Look at that, we get the big dogs down here. Yeah. We get the big journos down here.
And how about you, Lloyd? What do you say? Can't say Zach.
No, I would have to say Andrew Milligan, because he's fast over the 8 and 15, and 5k is a different beast.
Yeah.
The track 5k compared to a road 5k, I think it's harder for me. You know, I've always found it more difficult. So to be able to mix it, you know, not saying that he doesn't have the pedigree of the endurance events, but to mix it with the calibre of athletes that were in there, you know, multiple athletes that have gone sub 14 minutes, and to come as far as he's come for this race, I really like that. And then in the women's race, I can't count out Kate Axford.
It was amazing.
I just can't believe it. It was like when Luis Suarez entered the Premier League. It was like, where is this athlete come from? She's just an absolute phenomenon. And do you know what? If I had anywhere to lay my chips to say one to watch, it's Kate Axford.
Yeah, no, it was an dominant performance. And for someone so new to running, I feel like you think they'd be the ones that go off and think they can run something but can't. But she's incredibly level-headed. She sat in and she knew exactly what she was doing.
Yeah, absolutely. We've just got some comments on the live stream. We're going to read through some of them. You are getting a lot of love.
Yeah, so I can see there's quite a few of John's friends on there. So yeah, big shout out to, I'm going to call it the band. So that's Nick Tearle and Jack Johnson in the chat. So yeah, John Sanderson's band.
Yeah, big up the band. Obviously, big fans of Maddie. But the stream and the people that come to watch and the people that will watch it back, that's what it's all about. You know, you can watch it live or you can watch it later on in the comfort of your own home. But ultimately, if you can catch the stream, if you can watch it back, if you can support what we're trying to do here, it benefits the sport and it benefits these athletes. And in the same breath, we are going to take an interview now with the winner of the men's elite race, Zach Mohammed. Okay, so I am on the commentary gantry, joined by a very special guest, the winner of the men's elite race, Zach Mohammed. Now, unofficial time of around 13:45, 13:46. Talk me through, what were your aspirations coming into this race?
To be honest, this is a really great event. Thanks for having me again. Last year I was second here. I had a good run there as well. From last year, just gave me motivation to run really well. So tonight, I had a really good pacemaker, and just try and stick with him as long as I can, and try and keep taking over each lap. And then, yeah, that's about it.
So last year, Zach, you were second in 14:01 behind Olympian Ben Connor. What's been the difference to come here, not just to take the win, but run considerably faster?
Hasn't been any different, but a little bit harder because I just came off Ramadan about a week ago. The training has been completely quite different to last year, but still manageable to keep taking over the session each time. So yeah, it's just good.
And what's next for Zach? What's your next race that you've got coming up?
I've got Bucks on Monday.
Which event are you doing at Bucks?
I'm doing a 5k and traveling out on Sunday, so it's going to be quite a busy weekend for me.
As well, clearly in shape, my friend, and obviously going for the win at Bucks. Is that an event that you go for a time, or you just want that gold?
Literally, just depending how my body feels, just go for it, see what I can do. Either get gold or a good time, doesn't really matter. Just just go out there and run, represent my university.
I love it, Zach. You've been an absolute pleasure to have back at Comeback. You are always welcome back at the streets of Battersea. Everyone, the winner of the men's elite race at Comeback 5,000 metres, Zach Mohammed.
Thank you very much.
So that does mean we have come to an end. The Comeback 5,000 2023 is unfortunately, sadly over, but what a series of races, what an evening of athletics. Maddie, thank you so much for joining us. Well, how would you describe Comeback in 3 words? I love putting you on the spot, by the way.
Fast, joyful and community, because that's what I feel like it's been down here at the fastest park in the UK.
You heard it here first. I've been Lloyd, your commentator, with my co-commentator Maddie. We'll see you down the road.